Good evening, everyone, and welcome to our first ever remote back to school night. Let us always remember that we are in the presence of our Lord as we begin with a prayer. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. Lord, may you guide us as we, the Immaculate Conception High School faculty and staff, meet with the parents of our lovely students. Your love, passion, and wisdom will live through us and our entire community. Blessed Angela, we ask that you watch over us to ensure we continue to do your good work that began when you sent those 5 Felician sisters to America many, many years ago. We ask this in the name of Jesus Christ, amen. In the name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, amen. First and foremost, I have to send out a very big thank you to the entire faculty, staff, and administration for their tireless efforts to ensure that we got our Blue Wolves back in their school. Parents, students, thank you for believing in us, for trusting us as we navigate through this most challenging time. I must admit, the students have been great so far, both those that are physically in the building and those that are joining us remotely. We are creating as normal an environment so the students can get that true IC experience. Parents, I need you to reinforce 3 very simple rules. Remind your daughters always to wear their mask, stay 6 feet apart, and wash their hands. I always said it was the year 2020 and we should be talking about flying cars. And as a principal for over 20 years, I'm reminding students to wash their hands. Parents, if you can enforce those 3 things, we will continue to have an open school. Tonight, you're going to get a lot of information. You're going to hear from all the teachers, from some of them are in the building, some of them are in their homes. If at any time you have questions, concerns, please don't hesitate to reach out to any of us. This is all new. I think as educators, we're becoming better educators because of the pandemic, because we're doing things differently, but we're still being very effective. So please, stay safe. Always remember that we are here for you. And again, do not hesitate to reach out. God bless all of you. I now have the pleasure of introducing our school nurse, who has been truly instrumental in developing the Road Back Plan for ICHS. She's also been instrumental in the implementation of the plan. And please always remember that the plan works if we work it. So parents, students, if you're listening, I know the faculty and staff is listening. Make sure we follow the plan and we're going to have a safe and successful year. So without further ado, please welcome to the computer screen, Mrs. Stephanie Kadersha.
Hi, everybody. I'm just going to share my screen here. It's very nice to see everybody, even though I can't see you. First of all, I just want you to know that you can reach out to me at any time if you have any questions at all. I'm always available, okay, for anybody. So I'll give a second to make sure that my screen was shared. Okay, gonna assume it is. There's my contact information. Okay, so first we'll start with the basics. My hours are 7:30 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Monday to Friday. I'm here full time. I'm available to see students or faculty or staff as needed for any illnesses, injuries, or medical questions. As of now, health screenings, which include height, weight, blood pressure, vision, hearing, and scoliosis screenings, will still take place as of now. I want to make sure you can definitely hear me. Okay. So if it's necessary for a student to receive any medication during school hours, including over-the-counter medications such as Tylenol, Advil, the medication authorization form must be signed by both the parent and the physician. The medication must be sent to school in its original container, and it will be stored in my office and given by me. If I'm absent, a parent must come to school to administer the medication. It's important to realize that even Tylenol and Advil, we need a note from the doctor. A lot of kids come in with a headache or something like that, and I really can't give them anything unless we have the proper paperwork. If your daughter has severe allergies and requires an EpiPen, please send it in together with the medication authorization form and an allergy plan from the physician. I'll keep the EpiPen in my office. If your daughter has asthma and carries an inhaler, she may keep it with her for emergencies as long as the self-administration of medication form is signed by the parent and the physician. All students with asthma should have a current asthma action plan on file. That form is only used for medications to be used in emergencies, such as an albuterol inhaler. Okay, almost done with the basics, and then we'll get to the new stuff. Absences. If your child is absent or you know they will be late, you must call them out by 8:30 a.m. This year, it's going to be a little bit different. We'd rather you not just leave a message. We'd rather you get in touch. Oh, can't see my screen. Sorry about that. It is on the website, but let me see if I can fix that. Give me 1 second. That's okay. Talk amongst yourselves. There we go. You didn't miss anything good yet. It's all the old stuff that you should already know. Okay. Nobody's here to give me a thumbs up, but I think that's okay. If someone wants to text me a thumbs up, that'd be great. Okay, so absences. Again, please call your child out by 8:30 in the morning. I'll be discussing, oh, I just got my thumbs up. I'll be discussing absences more in detail with parents. Again, everything is private, but I do need a reason why your daughter's absent, and I'll certainly get more into that later. Although it's discouraged, if a student needs to leave early, we have to have a note, email, or a phone call from a parent in advance. If your daughter drives to school, we need permission from a parent to drive herself home early for an appointment or an illness. Students and staff members may not come to school if sick. That's huge. If you take one thing out of tonight, that's my message. We can't come to school if we're sick, and we'll go over that more as well. I'm personally going to follow up with all absences and discuss with the parents when the child may return. A parent note or email is required for all absences, and a doctor's clearance is required for all illnesses. Also, just another general, please update me with any new medical problems, allergies, surgeries, or new medications or anything like that. Okay, so screening and prevention. As you know, upon arrival to school, the students will enter through their assigned doors. The temperature checkers are at each entrance, and as per the handbook and COVID-19 plan, everyone must every morning read through the symptom checker before arriving to school. We also have posters at each entrance as a reminder. If the student is able to answer yes to any of the questions, stay home and contact me for further instructions. Very important. In my office, I have an isolation area set up for students who become sick with a fever or any other signs or symptoms of COVID-19 or any other contagious illness. I will use PPE as needed, and I have plenty on stock. Students or staff who become ill at school will be isolated and sent home as soon as possible. That's why it's very important that you keep your emergency cards updated. I have one for every student, but if there's any changes on there, please let me know. We need 2 people for each student that would be able to pick up in case of an emergency. I'll be cleaning my office a little extra and all the supplies that I use between student visits more than usual. Please trust that our conversations are confidential. I'll be in direct contact with me about any illness, close contacts with COVID, or anything. And again, it's very confidential. A general rule is to try to spend time with the same people. Avoid very crowded public spaces when not in school. Those situations are where the virus can spread quicker. If you know who you've been around, then even if the virus does come to our community, we can limit the number of people it's spread to. That's very important. The Department of Health has provided us with a matrix to use as far as exclusion criteria, readmission, and necessary testing and/or follow-up. It's all very, very clear, which is good. It's all based on the current risk level, and it changes as risk levels increase or decrease. At this time in North Jersey, we're in the green, low activity zone. But New Jersey as a whole has a statewide average of moderate, which is yellow on the chart. You'll see. I'll show you a chart. The current rate of transmission for New Jersey is 1.06. That was actually yesterday. I didn't get to check it today yet. But this means that for every positive COVID-19 case, every one person that gets it, it's being transmitted on average to only one other person. It's recently been as low as 0.77 to 0.96. Being at or below 1 is a really important indicator in our fight against COVID. In March, New Jersey's rate of transmission was 5. So for every one person that got COVID, they spread it to 5 people. So we have come a long way. The following slides show the activity level of COVID-19 in New Jersey in August and early September. And there's a link there that you can see on the website if you want to see it yourself. So this was the week ending August 15th. You can see in North Jersey, we've been green, which is low activity level, but the statewide average was yellow, which is moderate. And then I'll just go through. The next week is getting more green. The next week, which is the week ending August 29th, even more. If you look on the top there, the state average is also green, which is low. And then there was a little bit of a dip, but we're still in North Jersey, we still remain in the low activity level, which is great. This was the week ending September 5th. So just to give you a little bit of a history on my experience, as you know, I've worked in the hospital since April. So I worked directly with COVID patients. So I have a lot of firsthand knowledge about the disease and about its spread. Over the summer, I attended many webinars, about 25 to 30 webinars and meetings related to COVID-19 and school reopening. I actually just attended 2 more yesterday. These were from the New Jersey chapter of American Academy of Pediatrics, the CDC, New Jersey Department of Health, New Jersey State School Nurses Association, and the National Association of School Nurses. The IC administration included me in all of the reopening plans. Our plan includes more than just the minimum state requirements. In a lot of schools, I did hear that the nurses almost had to fight to be in on the meetings. And here it was the exact opposite. I was invited to every meeting and included 100%, which I really appreciated. I continue to have weekly meetings with other school nurses in Bergen County non-public schools, and we have those meetings with the Bergen County Health Department. I've taken the Johns Hopkins contact tracing course, so if we have any positive cases in our IC community, I'll reach out to my assigned contact at the Bergen County Health Department, and they will conduct the necessary contact tracing with my input. The IC community will be made aware if we have a positive case. However, privacy must be maintained. Please try to help with that and avoid rumors. It is a small school, so we want to try to keep things private as much as we can. So I just want to give a brief little review on where we stand now with COVID-19. I know some of you may know this inside and out, but other people may not, and a lot of things have changed. So SARS-CoV-2 is the virus that causes the disease COVID-19. It's now known that it's spread primarily through close person-to-person contact, where respiratory droplets are shared. Respiratory droplets can travel through the air from someone talking, coughing, or sneezing up to 6 feet, which is why social distancing, which they're trying to change the name to physical distancing, and wearing masks is so important. Although we'll still be cleaning more frequently, especially the frequently touched things like doorknobs and keyboards and railings, SARS-CoV-2 is not believed to be spread as easily through contact with contaminated surfaces as was previously believed. However, it still can be a means of transmission, so hand washing and cleaning is important. If you come in close contact, which is defined as being within 6 feet of someone for more than 10 to 15 minutes, with someone who tests positive for COVID-19, you must quarantine for 14 days, which means you would stay home and watch for any symptoms. The incubation period, which is the time it takes from the time of infection to onset of symptoms for COVID-19, is 2 to 14 days. Most people will start to show symptoms in 5 days, but it can be up to 14, so that's why that quarantine period is 14 days. The infectious period, which is the time when you can spread the virus to another person for COVID-19, usually starts 2 days before symptoms begin. The infectious period is believed to end when you are 10 days out from the onset of symptoms, and when the symptoms are improving, and when you're fever-free for 24 hours. So that's when you're considered not contagious anymore. You're most infectious on the day the symptoms first appear, which is why it's so important to stay home if you're not feeling well. I told all the students and I told all the faculty and staff and all of us, the the old, well, let me see how I feel as the day goes along. Let me go to school. Maybe after lunch I'll feel better. Maybe I'll feel better once I eat something. We have to get out of that habit and stay home the first day you're not feeling well. Testing of all faculty and staff and students is not currently recommended by the CDC. If you go for, some of the colleges are doing that, but it's a little bit different because once the students are at college, they're staying there for the most part. Here, if we tested everybody on Monday and everybody was negative, Monday night, someone can go to ShopRite, someone can go out with their friends and be exposed. So it really doesn't it's not really a help for everybody to be tested. Rapid tests are starting to become more available, which is a good thing. So if you need to be tested, you need to stay home until you receive your results. We have contacts in the community where expedited testing can occur. Antibody tests, which is a blood test that may show if you've been exposed at some point in the past. Researchers don't yet know if this means you will remain immune or if the antibody levels will drop over time. So because of that, most insurances are not covering this test anymore, and it's unknown how helpful it is at this time. So symptoms of COVID can include any of the following, which unfortunately are also the same symptoms of many, many other things. Fever, chills, cough, shortness of breath or difficulty breathing, fatigue, muscle or body aches, headache, new loss of taste or smell, sore throat, congestion or runny nose, nausea, vomiting, or diarrhea. So that's almost everything, every symptom you could possibly have. If a student has a history of migraines, however, and they have a headache, they're not going to not be allowed in school every time they have a migraine. We have, like I said, we have a matrix to go by with different symptoms. If it's documented by your doctor that you currently have allergies or a migraine, then they obviously won't have to stay home. Symptoms can range from mild to severe. Sometimes, though, you can be asymptomatic, which means that you have no symptoms at all. This is especially common in young people. It's still unclear if you're as contagious if you're asymptomatic. They need to really study that more. For now, even if you test positive and you're asymptomatic, you still need to isolate for 10 days from the positive test. Those at highest risk for serious illness include those that are over 65 years of age, those that suffer from obesity, heart disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, kidney disease, liver disease, or the immunocompromised. We do have a lot of students with asthma. Those that have asthma are not necessarily at higher risk for COVID-19, but the COVID-19 can trigger their asthma symptoms, making it longer to recover. Vaping, however, has been linked to COVID-19 risk in teens and young adults. Data collected in May shows that teenagers and young adults who vape face a much higher risk of COVID-19 than their peers that do not vape. There was a study in Stanford, and I put the link there in case anybody wanted to read it, because the kids probably think I'm making it up because I don't want them to vape, but it's true. So it all goes back, like Mr. Eslino said, to hand washing 101. Hand washing is still the #1 way to prevent the spread of illness. Wash your hands frequently for 20 full seconds. It's longer than you think. Use a paper towel to turn off the water and open the door. A little basic, back to basics. Hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol is acceptable as well. You can't go 5 feet in IC these days without finding some hand sanitizer. So we have more than enough. And we reminded the students to let us know if they come across an empty one, but we have plenty. So treat your mask like your underwear. Don't share it, change it daily, make sure it's clean, don't borrow them or lend them out, make sure it fits snug but not too tight. Mask safety, always handle by the straps, not the front or the inside of the mask. We need to wear them at all times in the school building unless you're eating lunch, and that means sitting down at your desk eating lunch. Make sure it covers your nose and your mouth. It must be 2 layers, and it has to hook or tie around the ears. No masks with a vent hole, because although you're protected, you're exhaling and still spreading germs. The masks should be washed daily. Single-use masks should be discarded daily. Wash your hands whenever you handle the mask. Gloves are only needed if you're going to be in contact with somebody's bodily secretions or if you're handling or preparing food. Students and staff do have the option of wearing them when they're cleaning their desks, however, and there will be a box in every classroom for this purpose. It's not recommended to use gloves as a regular practice. It actually spreads more germs. I did add this, I'm not going to read through it, but removing gloves is important because if you are going to wear them and you contaminate yourself when you take them off, you're spreading just as many germs. And there's a link there to a little video you can watch as well. I told the girls if anybody wants to wear them when they're cleaning their desks, they should watch this video. So what I need from you, I need you to communicate with me at all times. We really need to keep open the lines of communication. All health information will remain confidential. This is a great year to get a flu shot if you don't usually get it. Very important for multiple reasons. One being that the hospitals don't need the influx of flu patients. So if the healthier we all are, the better. Ask questions. I'm here for staff and families as well as the students. So please feel free to contact me. Another piece of advice would be to check your sources. Don't get your health information from Facebook, Instagram, or sometimes even the news. I stick with the CDC, the New Jersey Department of Health, and the American Academy of Pediatrics as good, reliable sources. Hand washing, hand washing, hand washing. Take care of yourselves. Stress and anxiety is not good for any of us. One last thing, things are changing every day. There's probably something in this presentation that will change by tomorrow. We will keep up with all of the changes and we will adjust our plans as needed. Any questions, again, please don't hesitate to contact me. Well, let's see if I can figure out how to unshare. Did I do it? Stop presenting, there we go. Okay, I did it. Again, any questions, please contact me anytime. And I'm really glad to be back in the building and glad to see all the students again. Next, I'm going to introduce Mrs. Jessica Catrona, the Dean of Student Life. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Kadersha. And again, we thank you for your time and your service and your support throughout this difficult and challenging time. You have been such a blessing to the IC community, and we thank you for being with us tonight, but also with us throughout this entire planning process. Before I speak on health and safety and social well-being, social emotional well-being, and talk to you about the Student Advisory Program, where we're at now and where we're going, and so many new and exciting things that are happening at Immaculate, I would like to first share the video with you that was recently posted to our website on safety, and it really encapsulates and encompasses everything that IC has been doing to ensure the safety of our students.
At Immaculate Conception High School in Lodi, New Jersey, our team of administrators, educators, health and mental wellness professionals have been working around the clock to create safe, in-person and remote learning plans that will suit our students and families, no matter how they choose to learn this school year. We are privileged to be able to have our doors open 5 days a week for in-person learning this school year. As a smaller private institution, we can attribute this to our ability and willingness to create reduced class sizes with more opportunities for social distancing. The safety of our community is our first priority. Some of the protocols we are instilling are: faculty, staff, and students will have their temperatures taken before entering the building. Masks are required for everyone in the building at all times. Social distancing will be maintained throughout the building and in every classroom. The entire building will be sanitized by Safety First sanitizing using electrostatic spray on an ongoing basis. Plexiglass has been installed on all administration and executive assistant desks to ensure protection during daily meetings. Hand sanitizers are installed throughout the building, and everyone will be requested to use it regularly, specifically in between classes. We look forward to a healthy and safe school year, and we are pleased to welcome our students back because amazing things happen here at Immaculate Conception High School.
We hope that you enjoyed the video. And again, your communication with us is so very important to the success of the safety of our community as a whole. We thank you for being with us tonight. I'm going to share my screen with you so you can see my presentation. Bear with me 1 minute. Okay, and hopefully you can see that. Can everybody hear me? Just give a thumbs up. Okay. At Immaculate Conception, the social well-being of our community is so important. Our students come first, and with your help, it is so important that we are all on the same page when it comes to their safety and health. Again, I'm going to talk to you about not just the safety and health, but the social emotional well-being of our student body. Our advisory program has grown so much in the last year, and I can never be more proud of our faculty and staff and our students who have made that program what it is today. Time for Us Tuesdays focuses on how every student at IC gets an individualized learning approach. Not only do they have their guidance counselor, Ms. Manzano, but every student has an advisor with them. And each teacher is an advisor, which allows for their relationships to grow in such a healthy and nurturing way. Our goal is to ensure that each student leaves IC with the confidence and character of Blessed Mary Angela and the essential skills needed to live in the world we exist in. To ensure that they are all happy and seeking wisdom. You can see here by the pictures, there were so many great things that happened last year that we're going to continue to bring to the program this year. But with the feedback of the student body, the surveys, the conversations that I've had with them in the hallways, we took what they thought was great about the program, what they enjoyed and they really needed, and also what they felt the program needed more of, and we're making it that much better. So you're going to hear tonight about what we're doing to ensure that program grows and is even more successful for years to come. The core elements, I just want to refresh everybody's memory, the core elements are communication, connections to academic support services, social and emotional learning, connection to youth and family services, support for a positive school culture and climate, and support for career awareness. Every one of our advisors they go into every Time for Us Tuesday, every Tuesday with their students, and their whole motto is to be who they needed when they were younger. And I know that all the adults here tonight can agree with me when we say we all needed an adult, if not more than one adult, that genuinely cared and took the time out of their day to meet with the students, or to meet with us, I should say, and make sure that we were okay, just to have a conversation, not for a grade, not for anything other than just, are you okay, what's going on, and how can we help you? And throughout this program, we have just already been able to add so many great essential qualities to it that we are ensuring our students need and that they will have moving forward. Some more of the core elements continued: support for post-secondary education awareness and decision-making, support for mission and service, building effective communication skills overall. What does that mean? That basically means that we are going to help our students, as we have, make sure that they are still keeping their core values and the service in mind throughout their years at Immaculate. Now more than ever, it may be more challenging because of the fact that our students will not necessarily be able to go into places or go to places due to COVID-19. And there are a lot of restrictions on places like nursing homes and daycares and some of the places they may have already done their service in the past. So we are going to be working together with the advisory program and the advisors to make sure we come up with creative ways that they can still contribute back to their community and explain to them that they may have already done such great service or had such great service completed during quarantine that they didn't even realize was service, and how that could be counted towards their end of the their end of their career here at Immaculate, when they become seniors and they do their capstone project, we're going to be able to look back with them and really reflect on what they got out of the advisory program that helped them build those relationships with their advisors, but also learn different ways of service and how they can give service to others. Just to refresh everybody's memory, so my role in the advisory program is the following: to make sure the voices of the student body are heard and their visions are brought to life. So again, your daughters share with me almost on a daily basis what they like and don't like about the program, and in general about what they, even if it's something pertaining to the uniform or the lunch, we really need to communicate on a daily basis with them, and we do. And they are so great at it, and I thank you all for making that happen and making it possible and communicating with us and communicating with them. To oversee the content, to serve as a mentor for all advisors, and also online on our website, you can find our student advisory program in more detail if you'd like to take a look at it. It's under Student Life on our new school website. And if you didn't get a chance to check out our new school website, please do so. It is fabulous. A lot of work went into it, and it is hopefully easier for you to navigate now. And we hope that the information that you may have wanted there in the past is now on there and an easier way to find. If anyone would like to email us directly with any ideas or anything that they would like to see added to our new website, please let us know. That's how we make things better. That's how we make programs better. That's how we make everything better for your daughters. And we really appreciate what you have to say, and we take into consideration any ideas that are thrown our way. Some new and exciting elements of the student advisory program this year. So we are going to be bringing in, we already have some scheduled out, alumni and different people in different career paths to talk to your daughters in the advisory program. And you're probably wondering, how are they going to talk to them if they can't physically come here because of restrictions with visitors and COVID safety procedures? We are going to still have them come via Google Meet. So we are going to have them talk through the classroom, through Google Classroom, very similar to how we're doing right now in this very moment. And they will be able to ask questions and communicate with college reps as well. We actually asked several seniors what they thought about the college reps that we brought in last time through Zoom. And they actually gave us great feedback. They said they wanted more out-of-state colleges and universities to be present and to learn more about them. So we actually compiled a list. Ms. Manzano got right on that, and she actually reached out to all of those colleges and universities that the student body asked for. And they already have agreed, many reps have agreed to come through the advisory program this year during a Time for Us Tuesday session and come through Google Meet and talk to all of the students. And so it's always great to have, and I explained this to the young ladies already, it's always great to have a plan B, a plan C. Many of them may already know where they want to go to college. Many of them may already know what career path they want to take, but things change. We know that, especially what just has happened in the last recent months, right? So when things change and we have to adapt, it's always great for them to have several plans in place. So that's really the point and the goal of the college reps coming in and communicating through the advisory program, so that our young women have more of an opportunity to hear from various colleges and universities before making their decisions. We also changed the schedule. So we listened to what the students had to say when they said, Mrs. Catrona, we feel that in the morning, we're not necessarily awake yet for these deep conversations on mental health and college and, who my little sister is or big sister is. So we said, okay, we'll meet you halfway. And we actually changed the schedule, and now they are having their advisory period after lunch this year. And we'll see how it works out. And again, through their feedback, we will then adjust the program to what it needs to be. And we also added 5 more minutes to the actual advisory period, so it gives more time for the advisors to elaborate more on the topics at hand. Here's just an example of some of the colleges and universities that have actually already said that they are willing to come in and meet with our young women via Google Meet in the advisory program. And again, these are just a few. There are many more to come, and we hope to grow this program even more throughout the school year. Just shifting gears a little bit, Code of Conduct reminders. The handbook is available for you on PLUS portals under announcements. And we do need you and your daughters to please sign the handbook acknowledgement form if you have not done so already. Within the handbook, you will find our policies, procedures, and our code of conduct, of course. And Mrs. Kadersha, thank you again so much for going over the attendance policies and calling in and out, and also making sure that they understand about coming to the building, visitors coming into the building. I also just want to stress the importance of attendance and the difference between unexcused and excused absences. We cannot excuse absences if we do not hear from you and we do not have valid medical reasons to why your daughter was absent. We do need medical documentation to excuse absences. Of course, there are other situations or circumstances that we may also excuse an absence if we hear from you and we do feel that the reason is a valid reason for her absence. If we do not hear from you or we don't receive communication in a timely fashion and we don't receive medical documentation, the absence will remain unexcused. And so after 8 unexcused absences, your daughter may or may not lose credit for a course, depending on, again, if those absences were indeed excused or unexcused. So we do really want to stress the importance of communicating with us and making sure that you get that medical documentation into us as soon as possible. Letters of infraction, just meaning if your daughter received a detention for any reason during the school year. But so far, so good. They've been great. They've been wearing their masks. They've been cooperating, and thank you. We can't thank you enough because we know that that's coming from home. They've been on time and they've been coming in their right entranceways. And again, we know it's only a few days into the school year, but we really want to thank you for that. And we need your help in continuing that positive behavior now more than ever. Again, letters of infraction and notification attendance will be sent to you via email monthly, and sometimes I send them more than once a month just so that we're always on the same page. I do ask that you please read those notifications from me and contact us immediately. If you see that you can email me or you can call the main office. Please just make sure that you communicate with us if you see anything like an error or a discrepancy, and we can go ahead and fix that right away for you. Safety. Students may not leave school for any reason without seeing our school nurse and a member of the administration. So if the school nurse was not able to see her, she would need to come see a member of the administration. In the event of an emergency, students are to see a member of the administration or faculty to contact home for them. We really stress this to our young women that they are not to call you during the school day if it's an emergency or they need to go home without letting us know what's going on. Especially now more than ever with the visitor policies and procedures, we need to have your daughter assessed as soon as possible by the school nurse, and then she will contact you if she needs to go home. Dropping off and picking up, just a reminder, in the COVID plan, 7 a.m. is the earliest that a student can now come to school, and all students must be out of the building by 3 p.m. And we appreciate your help with this, and this has been going very smoothly for us. So again, thank you. When it comes to sports, and if your daughter has practice after school, the coaches will be in contact with you. I know they have been already, and they've been doing a great job just letting the students know, and you know when they are allowed to be in the building, if they're allowed to be in the building, and how they are changing when they're changing into their gear for practice. Just so the parents are aware, the locker room is locked at all times until further notice. Students are not allowed to change in the locker room due to safety procedures and obviously for COVID reasons. And we also want to stress that if your daughter is playing a sport, again, their coaches will be letting them know if they have not already, and letting you know, keeping in constant communication with you as far as how they're to go about changing and where they're to report for practice. And they've been doing a great job with this. They are changing in the bathroom stalls individually, and they have been spoken to about this, and this has been monitored. Just a reminder on dress code. This year, it's an exciting year, but it can be a little confusing. So I just want to clarify for everybody that we are now in a transitional stage when it comes to the uniform. You can see it on the picture that I'm showing here. You see some of the students, the underclassmen, they have the gray skirt on. Then we have the upperclassmen juniors wearing a plaid skirt that is different than the senior plaid skirt currently. So that is because we have moved to a different uniform company, Flynn O'Hara. You should have received multiple communications from me letting you know about that change. And if you did not, or you have any questions, please email me or contact me, and I'll be glad to answer any questions you may have. But from the looks of it and the student body, it looks like everybody's got it down, so that's wonderful. And again, we are in a transitional stage. So you may see some students that still have a gray skirt, and then eventually you'll see them all have the blue, the underclassmen, the solid blue, and the upperclassmen, you will all have that skirt that you see in this picture right now, the plaid. But that is going to take a good year to phase out of that old uniform into the new. Masks, ICHS masks are also now available for purchase, and you can also check your text blasts and emails because you should have received communication. We did get a few orders already, so thank you. And for those of you who have any questions about the masks, you can also contact me directly for them as well. Just a reminder that remote learners are also to be in uniform during the school day, and they've also been doing a great job with this, and I'm so proud of them, and thank you for your help with this. This is not just to, enforce rules, but it is also for their well-being, that we feel it very important that they feel just as much as they are here as the other students that are here in the building, and that they feel that when they wake up in the morning and they put on that uniform that they're in school mode. And it's so important for their social emotional well-being. And so we felt that that was an important piece to make sure we made clear. And one last reminder pertaining to the dress code: students are to be in uniform at all times. And when we have dress down days, they are also to be dressed properly for school. And we do need your help with that as well. And the students do know what that means, and they do understand, but sometimes they, of course, will test the limits as teenagers. So we do ask that you just remind them on dress down days they are still to be dressed properly for school, meaning appropriate for school. The climate, the culture, and the discipline and immaculate. Again, code of conduct and the handbook can be found on Plus Portals under school announcements. If you have any difficulties logging into your Plus Portals accounts, parents or students, please make sure you contact Mr. Wada, who I'll be introducing shortly next, and he will be more than willing to help you along with that. And it's so important that if you're not receiving communication from us, text blasts, emails, Plus Portals, anything, that you really contact us right away so we can help fix that for you. Cell phone policy is still the same as last year. The students are allowed to use their cell phones during the school day, and they are allowed to use them during lunch. But they are not allowed to use them in class unless the teacher gives permission. So when I say throughout the school day, I mean when they have 5 minutes in between their class periods, they can use their phones, and they can also use their phones during lunch. If the teacher gives permission during class because they are doing something educational on their phone, using an app or whatever it may be, that's a different story. But being disrespectful using the cell phone is not allowed, and the girls have been made aware of that multiple times. We do need your help with that, as we do know that sometimes they want to text their parents during the school day. And so when that's happening, we do ask that you remind them kindly for us that they should not be texting and calling unless it is lunchtime or in between class periods. Our motto when it comes to social media is simple, but it is so important. And again, another thing that we really need your help with enforcing. They need to think before they post on social media. I tell the young women, your daughters, that they must always think if it's negative in any way, if it could hurt anybody in any way, do not post it. Even if they do not say a specific name of a student, even if they're not talking about anything to do with Immaculate Conception. They have to keep our core values in mind at all times. And what we stand for is peace and justice and compassion for others. And we do not accept any type of negativity towards others on social media. And of course, there are consequences for that. If you see anything or hear anything that you feel could be affecting your daughter or another student, please contact us right away. And we will make sure that we go about it the best way possible to ensure that your daughters are all okay and they're safe and they're healthy and they are getting along. We love to help them resolve conflict and teach them those skills, but the way that they cannot do that, and they should not be doing that, is by arguing via social media. And then we always stress this to them over and over again. So we do need your help in just reminding them of that as well. When it comes to the safety and the visitors in the plan, that can all be found in the COVID plan. Again, for our student safety in our community, visitors during the school day are prohibited. Unless you have an appointment with a member of the administration ahead of time, parents will not be allowed in the building during the school day, nor will any other visitors, alumni, or anybody who just drops by. They will be asked to leave and to make an appointment at a further time. Again, if you do end up forgetting, if your daughter forgets her school lunch, or she forgets something and you need to bring it to her, there is a drop box in the front of the school. You would just call the main office and leave it in the drop box, and we'll come out and bring it to her. So we do appreciate your help with that as well. And again, Plus Portals, Mr. Wada is going to talk to you a little bit about that in a few minutes, but if you are noticing that you do not have access to Plus Portals or your login is not working, please let us know. And there's a little quote here on the right-hand side, just so you're all aware, that I purposely put here because this really is something that's so important to to not just me personally, but to our community in general. And it states this, that school discipline should do more than just contain disruptions and punish offenders. Our school discipline is not that's for punishing or for reacting right away where students get detention for every little thing. We are for communication, and that really does help resolve most of any policies or procedures that may be being disrupted or not followed. Student discipline provides us an opportunity to speak into the lives of young people who struggle with deep wells of anger, loneliness, and fear. And this just means simply that we want to make sure that your daughters are always okay, and that in making sure that they are communicating effectively and safe and healthy, and that they are taking a positive approach to everything in life, that we really can help them the best way we can. And I'm not going to go through all these because this is all actually in the handbook for you, but just a reminder that if any of the rules are broken, that there are detentions, there are suspensions, and there is expulsion for different types of policies and procedures that may be broken, different types of infraction. And the most important that I just want to stress again is if any student is vaping or caught vaping on school property, an automatic drug test will be required. And if they did fail the drug test, they would be expelled from school. And I just want to make sure that we make that very clear, regardless if the vape was a water vape or a vape that had nothing to do with any type of narcotic, we still mandate an automatic drug test. So we do just want to remind all parents of that as well. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you for your time. Again, communication is key. And please just make sure that if you have any questions or concerns for me pertaining to student life, athletics, discipline, student advisory program, anything, I'm here for you. We're here for you. Thank you. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. Wada, our technology coordinator at Immaculate Conception, who also is key in everything that we've been doing to make sure our community succeeds.
Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. My name is Michael Wada, and I am the IT coordinator here at Immaculate Conception High School. As we all know, COVID-19 has changed the way we do things in daily life, and especially in education, and technology has become more integral and to how we function here at Immaculate Conception High School. So I did want to touch upon a few of the things that we are doing here to make education better for both our in-person students and our students who are learning from home remotely. So at the beginning of the year, we switched to Google G Suite, which gives our entire faculty, staff, and student body access to email through Gmail, as well as a variety of different tools that they have access to, including Google Docs, Google Slides, and Google Sheets, which is very much like our Microsoft Office suite, but it's available to all our students free online in the cloud, and it's tied in with all of our Google Classroom, which we are using in the classrooms. And I'll show you a little bit about that too. I think I'm sharing my screen here. So we have integrated Google Classroom into every one of our physical classrooms. And this is the way we are bridging the gap between our at-home students and our in-person students. So Google Classroom is the way the teachers can post assignments, have discussions with the students both home and in school. I'm just clicking around here. I'm going to show you a class. So here's a test class, and teachers can post assignments. The students can talk to each other. The teachers can grade them here, and the students can see when their assignments are due, and they can click a link and they can join the Google Meet, which is how we are meeting right now. And that is the way that our students will be able to video chat with the students that are in the classroom and the teacher. So hopefully some of you have already experienced this during this first week here at Immaculate and seen this in action. We got web cameras and arms that we installed in every classroom in order for the students to be able to see the entire whiteboard in the front of the classroom, to be able to see the teacher, and the teacher can put the remote students up on the board so that we can have interaction between the entire class. So this is just some of the ways that we are bringing technology to the forefront of our education and making sure that everyone has a great educational experience, both remote and in person. Now, all of this does tie into our Plus Portals system. Plus Portals is the system that you at home, the parents and guardians, will be able to use to check your child's grades, your progress reports, and things like that. Now, normally at back to school night, we would be in person, and I usually help everyone get set up with their accounts. But since we cannot do that, I'm going to give a brief overview of Plus Portals and how to get your account set up if you haven't already. So the first thing is you will get an email from us saying, here is your Plus Portals account. And in there will be a link, and you can click on that and get your password. If you've been a parent of a student previously, you probably already have an account. If you've forgotten that password or cannot log in, you can email me, mwada@ichslodi.org, and I'd be happy to help you. Freshmen and transfer students, as soon as this video is done, I will be going through and resending out links to those of you who may not have gotten them, so you can activate your account. So again, if you don't get it, but in the next couple days, reach out to me and I'd be happy to make sure that we can get you hooked up. So on our new website that has been talked about a lot lately, if you scroll down on the left here, you see parent-student login, and this is our new link to the Plus Portals login. So if you click that, you'll be brought to the login page here. We'll be able to log in using that username and password that we talked about a minute ago. Okay, once you are able to log in, this is what you'll see. This is our homepage for Plus Portals. I'm in the test student here. On the overview here and the progress, you'll be able to see your child's current averages in the classes that they are in, and recent scores on any assignments that may have been posted. The most important thing that you'll find on Plus Portals is their report cards, their progress reports, their schedule, things like that. Most of the time, these are going to be in their e-locker. So I'm going to talk about the e-locker at the top over here. You go over to the right to e-locker. And then in the e-locker, you'll find the e-portfolio. And right here, if there was anything, there's nothing on this test student. This is where you'll be able to find their progress reports, their report cards, their schedule. Okay, so that's very important. This is the place you're going to want to go the most. And you'll be able to find all the important information about your children's grades there. You can feel free to click around and check out the entirety of Plus Portals. Some of the things we don't use through here, like email and messages, those we use our other system, and you get your text blasts, as Mrs. Catrona talked about earlier, emails and texts. So most of the communication will come that way. And again, if you're having any trouble with that, feel free to email me, and I would be more than happy to help. You can also get the app for Plus Portals if you want on your phone. It's made by Rediker. That is the name of the company, Rediker. And you can download the Plus Portals for Parents app, and it'll give you the same information that you have here. So again, if you have trouble with your login or anything like that, just let me know. I did want to just touch briefly. Many of you know me by my other job here at Immaculate Conception, which is my Director of Performing Arts. And obviously with COVID-19, things are looking a little different, but I wanted to assure everyone we are working hard to see what we can do, and we want to provide a engaging and thorough performing arts experience for those students that are interested in the performing arts. We just don't know what that looks like yet, but we are working hard to figure out what that might be. So again, if anyone has any questions at all, feel free to email me, and I would be more than happy to help you with anything from Plus Portals to G Suite, to what devices your students may want to bring to school to use in the classroom, anything at all, feel free to let me know. All right, so next up, I'd like to introduce Mr. Dale Fava. He is our athletic director here at Immaculate Conception.
Thank you, Michael. Good evening, everyone. I know there's been a lot of talk about COVID. Obviously, we'll start off with the COVID plan. The state has been working diligently to make sports happen in New Jersey. So I'm really actually looking forward to it. We have been training over the summer since July 13th with a lot of our teams. And since then, we had no positive cases. Every day we do go through a pre-screening where the girls will fill out their questions as well as get their temperatures taken. Also, the coaches get that done as well. And they've been really abiding by all the rules and regulations. So it's really good to see them back out there and playing. You know, it's really actually good for their health. So some of the guidelines people were asking, when they're actually competing in their sport, they don't have to wear their mask only when they're competing, but when they do go to the sideline, they do have to wear their mask. The student athletes are required to bring their own water, 2 water bottles preferably, and just making sure that they have their mask always obviously available on the sideline after physical activity, as well as the coaches will be wearing their masks the whole time during the game, and the officials. Fall sports started officially September 14th. So in the fall, we actually are offering soccer, cross country, and tennis. Volleyball has been pushed to season 3, which is February 16th. This is the first time in the state of New Jersey that there is a 4-sport season. So February 16th would be considered season 3. That's right before basically the spring season. It's like a hybrid of winter and spring. So basically the student athletes can finally actually play 4 sports. It's the first time a student athlete can be a 4-sport athlete. Typically it used to be a 3-sport athlete. So I'm trying to get some girls to actually play 4 sports because they're probably actually not going to have that opportunity next year when everything is back to normal. As far as hand sanitizers and everything, all the coaches supply the hand sanitizers at the field. All the equipment that they use is sanitized daily. As far as state sectionals, the state sectional tournament has been basically suspended for now. So what the state has done is they made the conference local. So we're not too exposed to maybe some teams that are from down south. So a lot of teams that we're playing is going to be local as far as Saddlebrook, Garfield, Elmwood Park. That's how the conference is broken up. They will be also playing for a conference championship and a playoff. So they will still be actually competing, for their conference championship. It may not be a state title, but it is a conference championship. And, right now that is what the state is working on. Those could change next week. Let's say there was a vaccine or obviously a big improvement. There could possibly be a state tournament. The state could come in the middle of the year and say, we are going to play the state tournament this year. And those teams that get their power points will qualify for the state tournament. So there is still that possibility available for our student athletes. You also can go to the state website, njsiaa.com, and you can check out all the updates. Basically every single day, I'm probably getting about 100 emails on updates and new guidelines. My coaches have been great. They've been working around the clock to make sure that the girls are safe when they're playing. Knock on wood, we had, like I said, no positive cases. And we're one of, the only schools in the area that are really, backing our sports program to make sure that our girls are out there competing at the same time, staying safe, and obviously not getting the virus. So, big steps. A lot of our new teams this year will be getting new uniforms. Our soccer team's getting new uniforms. We're going to work on basketball uniforms and so forth. So we got a lot of good things going on in the athletic department. If you guys ever have any questions, you can always email me or call my office. All my information is located on the Immaculate Conception website. Next up will be our Dean of Academics, Miss Kelly Koval.
Thank you, Mr. Fava. Welcome, everyone, and thank you for joining us for our remote back to school night experience. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Kelly Koval, and I'm extremely proud to be the Dean of Academics at Immaculate Conception High School here in Lodi. As I begin my 2nd year at this amazing educational institution, I'm committed to sharing my love for learning and my infectious enthusiasm to each teacher, each classroom, and most importantly, each student daily. We at ICHS are both pleased and privileged to share our knowledge, our rigor, our passion for education with you and your daughters. Just as you, their first and primary teachers, teach them to fly, to dream, to live, we endeavor to do the same within the context of our Felician heritage and core values. Within each classroom, we teach, we mentor, we plant, we guide, we listen, we share, we dream. We cherish our time with your daughters, and we pledge to use every single moment and a variety of tools, the tricks of our trade, the kernels of knowledge, common sense, life lessons, advancements in technology, and our God-gifted talents to assist them to grow and blossom into the wonderful young ladies that God has destined them to be. May our time together, whether remote or in person, yield the best flights, dreams, and lives for each and every one of them. You, as the parents and guardians of our vibrant blue wolves, have chosen ICHS. Therefore, you have chosen spirituality, technology, differentiated learning, professionalism, mentoring, an individualized approach to learning, a college prep program, internship and opportunities, a college jumpstart, prayerful, supportive environments, health and safety, and most importantly, a dedicated faculty. You have chosen a place with heart that will always put your daughter first. Thank you for entrusting them to our care, and know that we will always do our best to build on what you have already imprinted in their minds, in their hearts, and in their souls. Thank you for choosing ICHS. And now we welcome you to take some time to get to know all of your daughter's teachers, our heroes who make the amazing education possible here at IC. Please be reminded tonight that Sister Alexander Siegel, Dr. Sonalise Morel-Baker, Mrs. Dorothy Laverty, Mrs. Rebecca Manzano, and Miss Nicole Minio are available for questions via telephone, email, or a Google Meet session for you. Please visit our new school website for all contact information at any time. To be mindful of everyone's time tonight, each teacher will speak for approximately 10 minutes. You are more than welcome to join us for the whole time, or only view when your daughter's teachers are speaking. If you would like to meet with anyone privately, our faculty and staff is always available via phone, email, or an individualized Google Meet session upon request. It is now my pleasure to introduce our first teacher up tonight, Mrs. Elizabeth Medrano.
Hello, where am I?
We're here. Go ahead. I hear you talk. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yep, they hear you. They're watching you.
Hey, I don't see myself, but you can hear me.
That's okay. Just
Okay, my name is Elizabeth Medrano, and I'm teaching Spanish 3, 4, and 5 this semester, and I have been here for a few years, more than 30. So I'm kind of young, but that's okay. So now I am Colombian, that's my background, but I have been teaching for a long time in Colombia and here. And that's one activity that I really enjoy doing. The first time I came to Immaculate Conception, I came as a part-time, and then I liked it. I stayed because the school is small, and there was so many things that I could do here and feel comfortable, and I like the homey feeling for the girls. So that's what I do, teaching. I will not give you a quiz today because I know everyone is going to pass it, but that's okay. And then here, my philosophy in any time I teach is that there is no students the same. There is no equal students. All of them are very, very, very special. And everyone learns on their own pace. Everyone can learn. Each of them learn whatever they can get. So I do all the things that I can to help them out. Because if you give them the tools, they really learn. And you can see their faces, and children come back, and they are happy, and they learn whatever they could. And I did whatever I could. And the school always provides all the tools for them to learn and to be happy, which is important, because learning is not only the language or the subject, it's also growing and being in a family and being comfortable, being emotionally fit and socially fit, and enjoy the time that you spend here for years. So if you really have any questions, you can let me know anytime. As you say, I'm available in the morning before school or after school, or anytime you need to just reach to us so we can help you and see what your daughter needs. And sometimes we need too. So we are going to reach to you. So that's what it is. And this time, this semester in Spanish 3 and 4 and 5, I know all of them. So what we are doing is building up on the language that we studied, and then the culture, and doing some little projects that we are not going to be able to do them as used to, having parties and all those things. Everyone is going to bring their own food to their own party, but we can do the dance, cha-cha-cha and all that if you want to. Yes? So that's what I want to say to all of you.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Medrano. Next up, we have Miss Marie Hammond.
Can you hear me? Yes? Can you hear me? Coucou! Hello, everybody. Good evening. Bonsoir. Buenas tardes. Hi. My name is Miss Hammond. Some of you know me, some don't. So I've been teaching for 15 years, and this is my 7th year at Immaculate Conception. I love this school. It's like a family. Thanking God every day. Then somehow I end up working in this amazing school. It's small. It's like a family. The girls are amazing. I love them. They love me. I'm so proud of them. I love everybody who works there. So I am half Swiss and half Spanish. I grew up mostly in Switzerland and Spain. I speak 4 languages, and I travel all over Europe and a little bit around the world. So I know how important it is to speak more than one language and to have an open mind to the world. It helps you to find better job, have more opportunities, make more friends. And this is one of the reasons why I love what I do, teaching languages and world culture. Yes, that's what I teach. I teach French, Spanish, and world culture. This semester, I'm teaching world culture, Spanish 3 and French 3. So in world culture, what I teach is about the other places in the world. So first I teach them about the world in general. Even the first question when I ask them, okay, how many continents is there in the world? I'm amazed to realize that some of them don't even know. Then I ask them to tell me a few countries in each continent. And they are amazed to suddenly realize that Afghanistan is in Asia. They had no idea. Which countries are talking around the world? What religion is there around the world? All those differences that make us amazing somehow. Then we go from country to country. I teach them about few countries, like do they have a president, a king, a queen? What do they eat for breakfast? What currency is there? How people greet each other? And then I teach them how to themselves research, make some research, make PowerPoints, and introduce us to other countries that they are interested about. So this is for world culture. For languages, so Spanish 3 and French 3, we are reviewing what we did the other years for now. And then the topic of this year is friendship. So I'm going to teach them new vocabulary, some more grammatic, conjugation for them to be able to make new friends or about school, friends, art, fashion, all those new things. It's very, very important for me then they be able to talk. So in my class, we talk a lot. Then we're going to use Rosetta Stone and we're making PowerPoints about everything they learn in class. I think I'm talking too much. No, I'm always talking a lot. So we're reviewing and then we're going to start all those new topics. So I always start by making the girls talk. When I know them, they know how to say things. Then I teach them how to write it, then how to say it, then how to exchange and communicate with each other. Then finally, they put everything on that famous PowerPoint that we're doing, that they can always go back and review. So just ask them to show you the PowerPoints. I just want to tell you that I'm so happy to be back. And then I send all my love to everybody. I hope everybody is doing really, really, really good. And I hope I can actually see you all soon. And if you have any questions, send me a text, call me, whatever you want. So have a good evening. Bye-bye. Au revoir. Buenas noches. Bye.
Thank you so much, Ms. Hammond. Next up, we have Mr. Kevin Hughes from our history department.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to take a moment to thank the administration and technology department, Ms. Koval, really anybody who had their hand in this event. Obviously, we were all dealt something that we weren't ready for. I guess you could say that, but I want to just firmly add that IC was ready for it, and we are ready for it. And this this back to school night was put together, and it's just so organized and so well thought out. So I just want to say that. Now, let's talk a little bit about history. I'm going to share my screen and my PowerPoint, just like others have done before me. It might take a minute to load, but you know, a lot of girls, a lot of students in general will sit there and say, well, you know, why do I have to study history? First off, especially in today's generation where you can simply pull up your phone, pull up your computer and Google pretty much anything that you want and find the answer to. But, you know, history goes so much deeper than that. We have to make sure that we teach the future so we don't let the bad parts of history repeat themselves, right? And it's completely necessary to do that. Just a little bit about me. I can talk about myself a lot, but I'm going to keep it brief. Teaching is something I've always been passionate about and something that I've always been involved in my whole life. I mean, my mom and dad growing up, my mom was a retired school teacher. My father is a retired superintendent of schools. And pretty much at the dinner table, that's all we talked about. And then even when I was in high school, my oldest sister was going to school for administration, and now she's a principal. So it's still today pretty much all we talk about. I absolutely love spending time with my wife, Marissa, and our two children, Stella and Owen. If your girls are in my class, they will certainly hear a lot about them, and I'm sure talk about them at home. I was born and raised in Bergen County, grew up in Bogota. My family moved to Allendale. I went to Northern Highlands. From Northern Highlands, I earned a full football scholarship to play at the University of Pittsburgh. And as I've already mentioned, I grew up in a family full of educators, and we still to this day are all educators. The only one, I'm one of 6 in my entire immediate family. There's only one of us that's not involved in teaching. I am entering my 5th year here teaching history at ICHS, and like Ms. Hammond said, I truly love it here. We are a small school, as you can tell, and that's one thing that Mr. A and everybody has said has benefited us with regard to COVID. We're able to do things that other places aren't. But it also benefits us because we truly are one family. I can't tell you how many times I've just noticed a student maybe looking down, and you just know that because it's a small school and you could see it in their eyes, you could see it in their face, and you could bring it up. And I think all the girls' classmates react that way too. Like you as parents and legal guardians, you know, young girls, young students in general have a hard time relating to us, thinking that we know nothing, all that stuff that we hear all the time and portrayed in, you know, media and movies. But the one thing that I try to teach the girls, aside from history, is that our journeys in our lives as adults have made us better people. And ultimately for me in my career, it's made me a better teacher. You know, in high school, I didn't love education. I didn't love school. I kind of only went to school because you could play football while doing it. But it instills, I feel as if I am able to instill the idea or the notion that hard work, determination, and you know, something that a lot of us struggle with is being able and being willing to ask for help when needed is necessary in education, but also in all aspects of life. You You don't know an answer if you don't ask it, and you don't receive help if you don't ask for it. And I truly feel that ICHS is a place where that mentality is contagious, and it's all across our halls. In a typical year, it's all across our cafeteria, but this year it'll be in our homerooms for lunch, and it'll be in our time for us Tuesdays, and it'll be in our hallways. So, moving along. Some of you upper class parents might know this already, but freshman parents may not know this, so I figured I'd add a little brief part about it. This is the breakdown of history at ICHS. Freshman year, all freshman girls take world history. Sophomore year, they take US 1, and then junior year, they take US 2. In the state of New Jersey, history is a 3-year requirement in all education, public school, private school, Catholic school, all of the above. Now, senior year, in the past, we've offered electives. We've offered geography, women in history, government, and our former history department used to offer history of rock and roll online. And those online courses are available. It's the subject, the topic area is generated by the students, what they want. And then we also offer a Rho Kappa Honor Society, in which I am a moderator for, and we've had a politics and government club in the past. So, world history. Upon completion of this course, this is for my freshman parents or legal guardians out there. And, you know, once this course is over, the first thing I ask my students is anybody in this class 100% Native American? And out of my 5 years, nobody's answered yes. So it's important for us to understand that we've all come from other places, right? So world history is a way to engage students in maybe some of their own cultures and the history of their cultures. It's also to start to get the young girls thinking historically. And when you think historically, it certainly impacts the current state. So I hope and anticipate that when the students are done with my freshman class, they're able to analyze the impact of economic forces, ideas, and institutions of complex relationships in world history. I want them to be able to demonstrate an understanding of the influence of geography in order to relate to the importance of geographical locations and historical trends and demographics. I want them to be able to demonstrate an understanding of a variety of political and legal structures all throughout the world and compare and contrast between and among them. Demonstrate an understanding of the influence of gender, class, religion, philosophy, literature, and art on a culture and a society. They're going to acquire and apply the skills of historical thinking as they apply the study of world history and apply pertinent knowledge regarding world history to develop an understanding of her place and responsibilities as a member of a global society. And a lot of this stuff is truly important in the world we're living in today. Next up, I do teach US 1. That will be in the spring, but for my current parents of my US Honors US 2 students, your daughters are going to learn, or your students are going to learn the United States history covering the story of our nation. We're going to analyze topics such as the accelerated industrialization, the massive immigration that came to the US, rapid urbanization of the late 19th century, which certainly directly affects the way we live now, the emergence of the US as a major world political, military, and economic power at the turn of the 20th century, and then we really need to include every aspect of US history, political, military, economic, social, and cultural, good and bad. It's important to focus on both. This is one of my favorite things because in every chapter we're able to point this out. The many remarkable contributions of women and racial and ethnic minorities to the growth and development of the United States and the physical and political geography of the world. This honors class is designed to enable the student to increase her understanding and appreciation of US history by researching assigned topics and in greater depth, and by analyzing selected primary and secondary sources, which in the long run is going to help with SAT prep, right? The SATs don't have history on it, but we can certainly do a lot of reading, analyzing, writing, which all are things that help students get higher scores on the SAT. Just some resources I want to point out. Obviously, our school phone number is 973-773-2400. My extension is 209. So if you need to call or reach out to me, you certainly can. Leave a voicemail and I'll get back to you. You can email me at my email there. All of this is obviously on the school website as well. Your daughters know this already, or your students know this already. I'm available for extra help at the times listed below, before school every day from 7:45 until the homeroom bell. As I mentioned before, I got two little ones, 2 kids under 3. Sometimes getting out of the house in the morning is difficult. I guess because of COVID, there hasn't been much traffic, so I've been getting to school at 7:30, 7:35. Bottom line, if you tell your daughters or your students, if they see me in my room, they're always welcome to come in, all right? And after school every day until 2:45, like I said, I mentioned before, I referee high school football. So sometimes I got to get out of there right at 2:45. Now, one aspect of my courses, and I do this for all of my courses, really we do this as a school, every course does this. I certainly use it weekly in my class, and this is a public website. I can post it to Plus Portals so you have access to it. But I want to take a minute just to show you something that your girls are doing in school and have already started doing. So this is our blog page. Weebly.com is a website that allows students and teachers to create free spaces for their blogs. And the way that I work this is I treat it like a monthly thing. All of a sudden in our lives, we're now celebrating something every month. And you can even break it down to daily. I think last weekend was like Grandparents' Day, and yesterday was National Cheeseburger Day, something like that. But anyway, I do it monthly, okay? And this is my homepage. I created a homepage so that I can have all of my students here under their own page, so I can access their blogs from one click away, okay? So for example, let's check out one of our students. This is their world history page, and they've created some things about themselves already in class, okay? And like I said, my homepage is the resource that they use. So just to further explain this, I post something monthly. This month is National Hispanic Heritage Month. As you know, our school social media has put out there, and we're celebrating it at the school. I post all of these resources for your students to access to create their blogs. So it's they can certainly look on their own for certain resources, but they can also utilize my resources. And the one thing that I always felt as a student was when a teacher assigned me a specific topic and I had zero interest in that topic, sometimes it was hard to get into it. So I give them kind of carte blanche to pick what they want. In the resources, there's almost something for everybody, right? So we have Sports Illustrated. This article talks about 30 influential Hispanic individuals involved in sports, men and women. Science net links. If I were to click on this, it takes us right to a science website with information regarding people in the science field. And the Hispanic Heritage Foundation, Hispanic Museum and Library is located in New York City. Their website has tons of resources, Library of Congress also, and then the National Hispanic Heritage Month. So you are able to access this site. All you would then do is click on the menu, go to whatever grade your daughter's in. Right now I'm teaching freshmen and juniors, and your student's name will be there, like I said. And you can click on it. It gives you a direct link right to their page that is there for history. And we work on these weekly. And every month there's a different topic. You know, we've done Women's History Month, we've done Black History Month, we've done a lot of different things throughout my time here at IC. And I think the students really love it. A lot of girls so far have been enjoying decorating and creating their page. You know, one of my students today just said, like, man, Mr. Hughes, your page looks so professional. And I said, you know, you just got to kind of go on there and mess around with it and make it your own and customize it. I want to take a moment to, again, thank you for your time. Whether you're watching live or you're going to log on later and watch it, you know, when you're able to, I do want to take a moment to thank you. Thank you for trusting us with your student, your daughter, your student, and trusting us in providing them the best education that we can. And, you know, thank you for investing in their future, because you certainly are getting your money's worth. And that is truly apparent with not only the faculty and staff, the administration, and the display that's put on tonight for our back to school night, which is done very professionally. I want to wish you all a great school year. And if you have any questions, any concerns, please just call my extension, send me an email. It goes right to my phone. I will answer as soon as I can. Thank you so much. Next up, I want to introduce Miss Priscilla Vallecillo. She is one of our amazing science teachers. Have a great night.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. And next up, we have from our science department, Mrs. Priscilla Vallecillo.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes. Thank you, Ms. Koval. Good evening, parents, students, everyone that's watching this. Let me just share with you. Just share with you on my screen before we get this party going, as I usually tell my students. All right. All right, awesome. Okay, so just as Mr. Hughes and Mrs. Kovad mentioned, I'm Mrs. Vallecillo. I am one of the science teachers at Immaculate Conception High School. I am also the National Honor Society advisor. I am located in room 212. Here I have listed my email address as well as my phone number with, of course, my extension. If at any point in time you need to contact me, reach me, same thing goes to my students. They have all my information listed here on Plus Portal and as well as my Google Classroom page. So a little bit about myself. I, of course, started at Immaculate Conception in 2017. I graduated from Montclair State University. I focused my studies primarily in biology, love science, everything from biology to microbiology to chemistry to physics, you name it. I love all of it. Of course, as I always mention to my students, just kind of have them smiling and starting off our day. I always mention to them about the two little babies in the household. And I can't, of course, not mention them. I have lovely Mr. Romeo and Miss Juliet. They are, of course, the babies in the house. And as I mentioned, this is just a quick little glimpse of everything that I have to offer for my students and, of course, anything along the way. So a little bit on, of course, my whole IC career moving forward. I am fortunate enough to have encountered an enjoyable career by sharing and educating students my same science passion to them, but obviously in their own unique learning style. And the passion that I have for science, if I can embrace that to them, I am more than happy. That makes my day every day. And in any which way that I can do it, I'm more than welcome to. I also, of course, want to move into why I love ICHS. Now, of course, aside from the pictures of my current students, former students, and future students, at Immaculate Conception High School, I have learned from many students, and many have most certainly made my day. And trust me, they most certainly have in different ways, forms, you name it. The tight-knit community that has been present Since I started at Immaculate Conception High School, it is still present every day I arrive at work. I admire truly how students are devoted to their academic achievements while being kind-hearted towards each other. And I see this every day. It's nice, especially now that we are spending more time than the usual in homeroom and all that. It's really, really nice to see that environment, and it makes me want to come to work every single day. So a little bit on the courses that I teach. So right now for the semester, which is of course the spring semester, I'm currently teaching anatomy and physiology, microbiology, and engineering science. And I will talk a little bit about each. And we'll start with anatomy and physiology course. This is an elective for, of course, juniors and seniors, depending, of course, on their schedule. Now, as far as science courses go, pretty much I teach the freshman biology their freshman year during the spring semester, but usually around this particular semester, which is the fall, I usually teach juniors and seniors their electives, primarily for students to complete their science courses. They need 3 years. Some of the students, if they want to pursue something in the medical field or any sciences, or even if it just fits their schedule, they are more than welcome to have another science elective. So I have some students that take it for 4 years. So this is one option students can take. So for anatomy and physiology, yes, anatomy and physiology consists anything from the molecular aspects to cells, to skin, to bones, to muscles, all different types of organ systems. That's just a few to name. Aside from that, we, of course, yes, we do dissections. We also use an ebook, and they also have an actual textbook that I had given to the students as well. And it's very interactive, the online anatomy and physiology MyLab, because the students can most definitely have the ebook. They can, take it anywhere with them. I was mentioning to my students today, there is even an application for it that they can download on their phone, and they can have their textbook right on their fingertips, on their laptops, iPads, anywhere. So it's really, really cool. Aside from that, I also give students homework directly from there. I really, truly enjoy it because a lot of it has to deal with a lot of ACT, SAT prep, which is very, very important for the students. And also how it is composed and the fact of they have the multiple choice and everything, and they can definitely put in essay answers and all that is very similar to, of course, how we are actually giving their test now. So I did tell the students in the class that I will be actually giving their test in that particular platform. So it's really, really easy to use. I know between the week we have been using it, and the students are really getting a feel for it. And of course, if they don't like the ebook for any reason, we have always, as I mentioned, a hard copy. You may find all this information from, Google Classroom, in Google Classroom and Plus Portal, but everything as far as Pearson, as far as the class syllabus, the lab contract that I gave the students this week, all on Plus Portal and Google Classroom. So please make sure that you're constantly checking it, even so with any questions or anything like that, even their grades, most definitely on either platform will do. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me. I will definitely help out in any which way possible. If any student would like any additional help, before school, after school, I am available anytime from usually 7:45 until about 3 o'clock. I can meet with a student in person or virtually, whichever way they prefer, as long as, of course, they let me know so that I don't, of course, book someone else in the event that I need to contact them or pretty much have to meet with them. The other course that I do teach is also microbiology. It is also an elective course for the seniors. And with microbiology, it is just pretty much, the name says it itself, it's all dealing with microorganisms, anything from bacteria like E. coli, viruses like the Zika virus, any unicellular organisms, these are all microorganisms. And yes, as I mentioned to my students, we have more of microorganisms in our particular body, like bacterial cells, than we actually do of ourselves. So it's really, really interesting, pretty cool stuff. Just as I mentioned for the anatomy course, I actually also have a Pearson MyLab, of course, just for microbiology. And the neat thing is that we also do have an ebook for microbiology class, and we also do case studies. And the case studies are really neat because they actually have the videos within the actual platform. So it's really cool. The girls really, really like it a lot. And it really does give them a college feel of how the course is if they want to ever experience, especially right now, like hybrid or taking a college course for the sciences. So it's really, really interactive. We also, of course, do labs. We primarily don't do dissection in a microbiology lab, but we definitely do, of course, see the microbes. We definitely do go through the correct protocols of hand washing because that's very important. And that's pretty much how we go about microbiology class. Now, same thing for the students. This week, I submitted in Plus Portal and of course in Google Docs as well, or Google Classroom, the class syllabus, the lab contract, and of course parents had to submit. Same thing with the class syllabus. So just make sure that you are checking that. And of course, if the Google form was filled out, I did mention to the students it is due on Friday. For the most part, many of them have submitted it, but in case you are wondering where it is, what it looks like, Google Classroom or Plus Portal page will do. And also, please know that I am available every day after school, as I mentioned, 7:45 until 3 o'clock, in class, virtually, whatever is easier for students, as well as I'm available for students as well for parents. And last but not least, the last course that I'm currently teaching this semester is engineering science. So engineering science is, of course, an elective course for juniors and seniors as well. And this is a very collaborative, there you go, course that most definitely is very project-based. It's hands-on. As you can see, this is pictures of my previous students last year, how they were creating, thinking outside the box methods, and pretty much with engineering science, it consists of exploring science, technology, engineering, and mathematics all in one curriculum. And of course, they work together to be able to find innovative solutions for real world problems. Now, this is already, I know, started with my students thinking about, classrooms in 2030. How are they going to now put a classroom together based on equipment, decorations, anything from, the skills like computer. So it's definitely something to think about for the future. And as I mentioned them even in class, like our new norm has to deal with a lot of virtual teaching. So what are we going to think of that in 10 years from now? So again, it's a course that definitely has them think outside the box. They constantly collaborate, and students definitely enjoy it. It's not so much of the normal course where, we just take notes, we have a little understanding. This is more of like, you pretty much solve it and pretty much think about your end user. We go through the engineering design process and we find a solution for our end user, giving the criteria. So right here over to the left-hand side is a little exercise that I have the students do as a little warm-up for collaboration. And it's actually known as the Lego Man Challenge. The girls have a lot of fun working on this. I pretty much put together Lego pieces, they're swapped. Then they actually have to be able to remember how certain things go and then go and tell their group, hey, the red piece goes on top, goes on the bottom. It gets really tricky and it's easier to see it than actually say it. But girls have, the students have a very, very fun and interesting time. And they have to collaborate both at the same time to be able to actually be successful and be able to successfully put the Lego man together or woman. So that's pretty much where we go with, of course, our engineering design class. Now, the other items I wanted to also mention is that during this past week, the students were given the class syllabus, lab safety contract, and of course, everything is going to be located on the Google Classroom as well as the Plus Portal. So if you haven't had a chance to take a look at it, I encourage you to go look at it. And of course, parents and of course the student had to fill out a Google form and submit it. It is due on Friday, so I did just want to mention that. And one little thing that I always want to tell parents, for engineering science, there are no textbooks. The only thing that I usually tell the students to pretty much bring with them is something to write with, a folder, or in this case, as I mentioned to them, is they have to have an electronic binder or an electronic folder, because we're going to be having a lot of handouts, and any sort of binder is actually going to primarily stay in the classroom, or it's actually going to be electronically when they work on projects, because this class is mostly projects. And of course, we do anything from stools to, of course, designing shoes, depending on, of course, their end user. So aside from that, I also do want to mention that I am available every day from 7:45 until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, in person or virtually, whichever is best for the student and or parent. And of course, if anything is ever needed, please feel free to contact me. Last but not least, I want to say thank you very much for your time tonight, and thank you for pretty much just giving me the opportunity to be able to be your in your students' lives, to be able to teach them, and of course embrace a little bit of my knowledge to them, to be able to encourage them to pursue something if they want to do in the science field, or just give them advice. Please know that I am more than welcome to help out in anything, or if you have any questions that need to be answered, you're more than welcome to email me at pvico@ichslodi.org, or you can definitely contact me. My phone numbers are provided, 973-773-2400. My extension, however, is 212. Again, thank you so much for your time. I hope we have a wonderful school year, and I hope you all have a wonderful night.
Thank you, Mrs. V. Next up, we have our famous molybdenum dancer, Sister Genevieve.
What can I say? Hello, everybody, and welcome to Chemistry and Physics. A little bit about introducing myself. I am beginning my 10th year at IC. So I have taught generations at this point. I am a Sister of St. Joseph, not a Felician, so I don't live here on campus. I live in a convent in North Arlington, and some of our students come from over there. Last year, when we did the at-home learning, and I was doing it from the dining room, some of the students said to me, "Sister, can we see some of your nun friends? Because we never see any of them." So I actually took my computer and walked around to the different rooms and introduced the students to my nun friends and showed them a little bit of the convent. So they kind of liked that because they'd never get to see that. So I have been teaching for a really, really long time. Don't tell anybody, 50 years. So by now I can do all the homework and I know how to do the problems, so don't worry. I have a degree in chemistry from Chestnut Hill College and one in chemistry and physics from a master's in physics and chemistry from Villanova University. Just a little background there. Why do I love ICHS? Well, I've been in a lot of schools, as you can imagine, big ones and little ones, country ones, city ones. But at IC, I find that the small classes and the blocked schedule, which gives time to do a lot of different things within one class period, as well as the tight-knit community of the girls and the caring faculty, make me want to come to school every day. Now, you notice I didn't say hop out of bed at 5:30, but I want to come every day. I like school. School makes me happy. When the students aren't here, it's not the same. I've done some other jobs as a Sister of St. Joseph outside of school, not fun. So what do I teach here? I teach chemistry and physics right now. Later on, next semester, I'll be doing chemistry, physics, and forensic science. A lot of people like that because it's like they think they're on television. Except when we do the forensics, we don't solve it in half an hour with 2 commercials with everybody walking around in high heels with lots of makeup and nice clothing. Basically, if you would ask me, what's my educational philosophy? I believe that every student can learn if we go and approach them in the way that is interesting for them. Everybody has a different learning style, myself included. And I can tell when I explain something to a student and she nods at me, I know she didn't really get it. Because that's what I do. If somebody gives me directions and I say, oh yeah, I might as well say, oh no. Chemistry and physics are not spectator sports. You cannot just sit there and watch. The student has to really get involved. And that we need you to help us with that. Because even this many days in, that we have students without calculators, it's really hard if everybody's on a calculator and you're trying to do a long division. We have students without flashcards to do their vocab. And there are some people, you wouldn't believe this, when I give them a couple of steps to do, they want to skip a few steps. You have to do every step. Because in chemistry and in physics, there are more new words than there are in a foreign language. And so they have to say them, see them, write them, or spell them at least 7 times. Now, another part of my philosophy is we take science seriously, and sometimes people think I'm a little too strict, but you know what? I have their life in my hands. We have to be safe. We have to keep the goggles on. We have to know that hot things look the same as cold things. And if the directions say 2 drops, it doesn't mean 2 cups. Because we will be dealing with acids and bases and hot things and cold things. So they have to pay attention and they have to listen because safety is very important. Now, another thing I believe is that even though science is serious, we need to have some fun. And if you have had any daughters who have had me before, I tell them, you got to get the jokes. We also do some dances. I'm not a great dancer, but they make up for it. And today I called Miss Covell to tell her that in the chemistry class, one girl was being the teacher with the index cards and the elements, and they were all writing on their whiteboards and holding them up. I'm telling you, they were laughing so hard they almost fell out of their seats. So that was fun. It was fun, but they were still learning. The students can see me in the morning if they wish. They can see me after school. They can connect with me by email. If they're going to come and meet with me, it would be helpful if they would tell me they're coming. I don't know if you remember the story of the little prince, but the little prince says, how will I know to wait for you if I don't know you're coming? Sometimes, if it's a short question or something that's just bothering them, in between classes, sometimes is enough. Just for me to say, you're doing a good job. It's okay. You don't have to get them all right. I often, and I did it this week already, when I give them homework, I have them evaluate their own homework and tell me if it's worth a 0 to a 5. We're getting better at it. The first couple of days they were going, no. I said, no, if it's worth a 5, say 5. And they're getting better. Today they were better at it. So if you would like to contact me, you're also welcome to email me. Call me on the phone. We can make a Google Meet time. I would love to have time for questions, but we're not doing that tonight. And I think, Ms. Covell, it's time for me to say goodbye, right? Good night, everybody. I can't say to you what I say to my students. I say to my students every day, see you tomorrow, but I can't say that to you. Good night, and thank you for listening, and thank you for entrusting your daughters to our care. We're going to take good care of them. Good night.
Thank you so much, Sister Jen. We appreciate everything you do for all of our students. Next up, we have our math duo. We are starting with Mr. Connor Bradiansky.
All right. Good evening, students, staff, parents, administrators. How are we all doing tonight? My name is Connor Bradiansky. I am the mathematics teacher, one of the mathematics teachers here at Immaculate Conception, and it can get confusing. There are two Connors in the math department. I'm Connor B. There's Connor G. So please try your best not to confuse us. A little background about myself. I studied mathematics at Monmouth University, the Ramapo College of New Jersey, as well as our sister college, Felician University, right next door. I am also the head coach for cross country, indoor, and outdoor track. Why do I love Immaculate Conception? Well, Immaculate Conception is the kind of school where you show up every day and the students remind you about, how great it is to be positive in life. Everyone here is passionate, positive, and they all want to continually help each other grow within here. So it's a place that reminds me that, the world isn't that bad of a place with everything going on. In terms of my educational philosophy with mathematics, a lot of girls do get anxious. Mathematics is an intimidating subject. So one way I try to preach to them, instead of it being, learning math, it's a way of thinking. We're thinking critically. I've seen every student in this building be able to think critically. So if you could think critically, as long as you apply that thought process to, Algebra 1, Algebra 2, geometry, which are the subjects I teach, you can be successful, whether or not you are a naturally gifted or inclined student in mathematics. To touch on that, again, I do teach Algebra 1, Algebra 2, and geometry at Immaculate Conception this year. Most of your daughters have brought to you the syllabus for my class. This is going to be pretty much the same section on everyone's syllabus. This is going to be the most important part. Folders, grid paper, pencil pouches. I know some of these, like some of your girls may have dismissed them. Index cards, graphing calculators. These are all very, very necessary, and it's imperative that they do get these items. The most important is, as you see here, I have in bold, italicized, size 1000 font. It's going to be your TI-83 calculator. A lot of girls have come in with calculators that are not this type. This is going to be the best one to get. So there's the TI-83, there's a TI-84 model, and a TI-89. Either one of them will do. The reason why I want them to get this model is because in my class, you're looking at exactly what I'm going to have projected onto my board. I teach my classes 3 ways to do every type of lesson. I teach them the proof, or the long way to do a problem, the theorem, which is going to be the short way, and then I show them how to do it on a calculator. And doing it on a calculator is going to be very, very important, because when they take tests like the SAT and the ACT, they're allowed to bring this is the highest computing level calculator they could bring into the SAT. So by having it, they put themselves at the greatest chance to be successful in that standardized test. So they want to be able to do all these problems on these machines. A couple items on here that your students probably, or daughters probably never seen before. It's going to be like word problem of the week. All this is going to tie into them ultimately, preparing for the SAT, whether your daughter's a freshman, sophomore, and especially juniors who are going to be taking the SAT most likely for the first time, either this fall, winter, or spring. Word problem of the week. The SAT, which I assume most of you probably have taken in the past, as you know, is all word problems. Everything is a word problem at the end of the day on the SAT. So every week I'll be introducing a new style of word problem, which is going to be coming directly from College Board, which is the company that makes the SAT. So we're going to be getting questions directly from the source, and the SAT it's very predictable. They ask the same exact questions year in and year out. So, we might as well use that information to put ourselves in the best position to succeed. And again, the TI-83 calculator, it could be expensive. I know it can. Brand new, I think it runs about like $90, but you could get used ones for as little as $20 and they last forever. This is my calculator. I got my freshman year of high school. That's 15 years ago. It's in immaculate shape. You know, they last forever. I've dropped this thing out of moving cars. It is unbreakable. So I promise you they get it. They'll use it in every math course in high school, college, and obviously after. Other than that, if your daughters ever have a need for extra help, you know, as long as they give me like a 24-hour heads up, I could see them either in the morning before school at 7:30 or anytime after school until as late as 4 o'clock. Again, I do need that 24-hour heads up because, you know, I am head coach for a fall, winter, and spring sport. So I want to make sure I plan accordingly. That way I can allot the correct amount of time for your daughter to get the appropriate amount of tutoring. My email is on the syllabus. If anyone has any questions, wants to meet with me privately, just email me and we'll set up a time later this week to meet. Other than that, I want to hand it off to Kelly, who will introduce our next teacher.
Thank you, Mr. B. We love how you have an immaculate calculator. I love that. Okay, next up, we have Mr. Connor Gleason.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Connor Gleason, and I'm a mathematics teacher here at Immaculate Conception High School. I am a mathematics major from Montclair State University, and I've been privileged to work here at Immaculate Conception for 6 years. One of the reasons that I love working here is because it feels like a tight-knit community. I feel that at schools like ours, teachers can more easily tailor instruction to meet the needs of individual students and are better able to know their students' academic strengths and weaknesses. I've built my teaching philosophy on the basis that every student is capable of learning mathematics. Unfortunately, some students believe that they are not gifted mathematically and are unable to learn or understand the subject. I believe the opposite, that students can be successful in mathematics. That one thing that helps students succeed is having a teacher who is not just passionate about mathematics, but also passionate about the student's success and understanding of the material. Education is about the desire to learn, not the obligation to learn. The process of learning for the students should be enjoyable, interesting, and helpful. At the same time, I must admit that mathematics is not always easy. However, if presented in the right way, it is not the monster that it is often perceived to be. By learning theorems well, working on examples that illustrate concepts, and working on difficult problems that require special attention, students can tackle any problem. This semester, I am teaching both honors pre-calculus and statistics. Pre-calculus is a course that includes algebra and trigonometry at a level which is designed to prepare students for the study of calculus. Some of the topics that our course will be reinforcing and mastering are polynomials and rational functions, exponential and logarithmic functions, the unit circle, analytic trigonometry, and systems of equations. Statistics is a course that concerns the collection, organization, analysis, interpretation, and presentation of data. In this course, students will be exposed to 4 broad conceptual themes: exploring data, sampling and experimentation, anticipating patterns, and statistical inference. This course is designed to help students understand and make logical decisions on data that is presented through television, newspapers, the internet, and whatever data is disseminated to the public. The students know that if they need to contact me, they can email me at any time. I'm available before school starting at 7:30 and after school until 3 o'clock. And if you guys have any questions or concerns, please feel free to contact me. My email is on the syllabus, which is going to be posted to our Google Classroom and to Plus portals. I hope you all have a wonderful night and a wonderful school year.
Thank you, Mr. Gleason. Just a side note, in terms of our mathematics department, it's very important that our students at IC utilize our program of IXL. Our teachers regularly use IXL within the classrooms, but it's very important to use IXL as an independent learning tool as well. As you see, we often send out some challenges and some contests for the girls to get motivated in terms of IXL, but we really want you to challenge yourself individually. So you know what your strengths are, you know what your weaknesses are. It's really great if you go on IXL yourself at home and you go to the next level, or you go back to those basic skills that you really know that you need some sharpening on. So we encourage the use of IXL in both mathematics and language arts, and that will really be another tool for you to prepare for your standardized tests. So with that being said, our next department up is our religion department. Although religion is infused in our everyday curriculum in every single class based on our core values from our Felician sisters, Mr. Murphy and Mrs. Skolarski really teach the content knowledge behind our faith. So I would love to introduce Mr. Tim Murphy.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Tim Murphy, and I teach the junior and senior religion courses at IC this year. Next semester, Mrs. Skolarski and I will be sharing teaching the seniors, but for now, I teach 2 classes of juniors and 1 class of seniors. That's for this semester. I have to say that teaching at IC is a privilege to me. I truly enjoy it. Our students are the greatest. They are there to learn. They're teenagers, so sometimes they forget that, but they are there to learn. And their enthusiasm the past few days has been very helpful as we handle all of the glitches and inconveniences of COVID. What we will be doing this year with the juniors, we will have 2 different courses this semester. The first course is church history, and the second is introduction to morality. Now, we do a lot of crossover during the courses simply because I believe that a student should have her questions answered when she has the question. So if it's a morality question, I'm not going to tell the student to wait until next quarter when we're doing that in class. We will discuss that, and then I can always segue back into the church history course because they're not totally separate anyway. I have been teaching these 2 courses for well over 15 years, and I am very comfortable with not only the subject matter, but all of the things that get kicked off in an adolescent mind when we're talking about these topics. We can talk content, and that's very important, and that's what most of their tests and evaluations will be based in. But we also need to talk about the faith that is behind all that's going on. Right? That's easier to do in a morality course than in a history course, but it comes up, and I believe that it's very important that the students are constantly reminded that they are in Immaculate Conception High School. And there's a reason that the school is named Immaculate Conception. And there's a reason that we talk about the Felician core values all the time. And so that's, to me, that's of paramount importance when we're dealing with young minds. All of us are constantly being indoctrinated by non-Christian concepts. Okay, our culture is sliding away from the basic concepts of Christianity, okay, that we all learned in elementary school, even whether we went to CCD or Catholic school. We learned the basics, but our culture is sliding away from that. And we need constantly to remind our students that the scripture and the teaching of the church is what comes first. And we should be gauging our or criticizing our politics based on our faith, not the other way around. And so that I work very hard to keep that in the forefront of my mind as I'm dealing with the girls in class. Okay. And that's pretty much the basis for my educational philosophy. I truly believe that I am in Immaculate Conception High School because this is where God wants me to be. And he wants me to bring all of my experience with me and share that with the girls. And I tell them that right up front. So they're all aware that they're going to hear Mr. Murphy's stories. Okay. And I try also to make it fun. It is so much easier to learn things in the midst of a game or simply a fun conversation than it is simply by trying to memorize things out of a book, okay, or even off of what I offer on the board or the projects that they do. If they're having fun with it, it's going to stick a whole lot better. And there's a whole lot of repetition, but I try to keep it to the point that they don't realize it's repetition. And we try to hit the same topic from different angles and to hear each other's opinions. And I talk to the girls all the time about how my worldview is very different from theirs, simply because I've been around so much longer and have seen so much. And the world today, to me, is really strange. It's like living in a science fiction story. Okay. We even discussed the difference between making a transatlantic call in 1965 and making that same call in 2020, and what the phone looked like and how long you had to wait and how you had to call the operator and she had to connect you with the overseas operator, and then you hung up and waited for her to call you back within an hour or two, and things like that, just to get the point across in the history course that we can't judge people from 2,000 years ago based on the understandings that we have in the year 2020. Okay, and that's really the history course, is to give the girls a background in what has happened in the church and how there have always been problems in the church, but due to the presence of the Holy Spirit, we're still here. And no matter how bad it looks, we're still going to be here until the end of time. In the morality course, this is where we discuss all the major moral issues of the day. And my task is to show the girls what is found in Scripture and what the church teaches and why. And then I open it up to objections. I ask for comments, objections, concerns, whatever they want to ask. If they have a question, and we discuss it. And not just me. It's not just me responding to them. Their classmates get to talk. All right? Now, that's going to be a little bit more difficult with the remote students, but I'm finding that it's not all that much more difficult. I just turn the camera to the class rather than myself, and I put the remote students up on the board, and we discuss. It's a little awkward at first, but the girls get used to it much faster than I do. The next thing that we do, okay, is the seniors, and the seniors will be taking, again, 2 courses. They'll be taking comparative religions this semester, right? And the bishops have decided that a very good way to raise questions about your own faith that you might never have thought of is to look at how other people believe. What we will do, and then the next semester, we will do a vocations course. We call it we used to have a book that called it Christian Lifestyles, but the new book is more traditional and it calls it a vocations course. And that's what it is. And we examine the 4 basic lifestyles or vocations within the church. The single lifestyle, the married lifestyle, the consecrated lifestyle, and the ordained. And we put most emphasis on the single and married because all the girls are already single and they're leaving high school, so they're single young adults. And then most of them will become married, so we work on that one. And then we also show what it is about the consecrated lifestyle that is possibly what they are being called to by God. And then we discuss the ordained lifestyle because they're going to be dealing with ordained men for the rest of their lives. And it might be a good idea to know what is going on there. And Ms. Koval, I am finished. If you would like to introduce Mrs. Skolarski.
Thank you so much, Mr. Murphy. Next up, Mrs. Arlene Skolarski.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mrs. Skolarski. I have been a religion teacher here at Immaculate for 17 years. It's hard to believe that it seems like just yesterday I walked through the halls of Immaculate as a substitute, and then they asked me to teach, and I've been here ever since. Since I've walked through the doors of Immaculate, I've always felt that it was my second home, and I always strive to make the girls feel that this is how it is for them as well. My educational philosophy is any student can learn. We just have to reach them at the level that they're at and keep at it until they can get it, or they figure it out themselves, and they will. I am available any morning from about 7:15 to 8 o'clock when we have homeroom, and then after school from 2:20 to 2:45. I teach the freshmen and the sophomores religion, and I'm also teaching business to the freshmen at this point. Next year, I will be co-teaching with Mr. Murphy when it comes to the seniors. But one thing I would like to really touch upon is service. We have a service program that is considered experiential. What I mean by that is the girls are experiencing their service rather than being told you have to do a certain number of hours. So they are required to go out and do service for other people, and they are to write about their experiences. Touching on what Mr. Hughes said, they will blog about their service on their Weebly blogs. And they will be writing a paper on their service for the first quarter. And they will be also, after that, required to do a PowerPoint presentation. What this does is it helps them learn public speaking. When they learn that and they get more comfortable with that, they're going to be doing this every year for the 4 years that they are teaching religion. And they are required to take religion for 4 years. When they get to Mr. Murphy's class and my class as seniors, they will be required to do a video combining all of their service, which is why the Weebly comes in so effectively, because then they can remember all the stuff that they've done. We started this last year, and the videos that these young women did, and this is the first year they've done it, the videos that they did were phenomenal, the way they pulled it together. And I'm so proud of them that they did. With Teaching Religion 1, the course that I'm going to be teaching is all talking about the church, about the faith, about the Blessed Trinity, about how we are the body of Christ. And as the body of Christ, service, again, is a very, very, very important component. Okay, they are required to do classwork. They have finally taken on the term that Mrs. Skolarski plays Jesus Jams every day, and they are allowed and encouraged to send me a link so that I could take a look at the video so that I could play it in the class the next day. And that really, really boosts their morale and helps them out when they hear their songs being played. I also, next semester, when I teach them, I will be teaching them about the Old Testament, about how the men and women that God called in the Old Testament were called to do very great things. But I also am very clear that they were human and that they made mistakes, but God called them anyway, and that every single one of us is called to do great things, and so are they. When they come to me as sophomores, I continue talking about Jesus and his ministry, how he called the 12 apostles, and what he did, the miracles that he performed, the Annunciation, the challenge that his mother faced when she was called to be the mother of God, the birth of Jesus, and the challenges that they faced when they flew to Egypt and then came back to Nazareth. And then Jesus' first public miracle at the wedding of Cana after his baptism. I have a bachelor's degree in business, and that helps me with the business courses. I have a master's degree in religious education that I was able to achieve at Felician University. My bachelor's degree is from Montclair State University. So when I teach my business courses to the freshmen, I'm teaching them how to financially plan, what they can do to get themselves ready for college, how they can get out of college with as little debt as they possibly can, and you as parents with as little debt as you can have, because they should be able to go to college, have a really good education, and be able to research scholarships, which our guidance department is phenomenal at helping them attain. Knowledge is power. And I believe the more the kids learn about their faith, the more they're going to want to live it. It won't be, I have to do it because God says I need to follow the 10 Commandments. It will be, I am living my faith because I love my faith. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for trusting your daughters to us. And I know I speak for every single one of the faculty members when I say that they are your precious jewels. And when they are in our classrooms, they are ours. So good night. If you need to get in touch with me, my number is 973-773-2400, extension 307. And my email address is askolarski, ASKLARSKI, at ICHSLodi.org. Ms. Koval, you can introduce our next guest.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Skolarski. Next up, we have our English teachers, and it is my pleasure to introduce Ms. Tara Connor.
Hello, parents, guardians, administration. I guess first and foremost, I want to start by thanking Mr. Aslino, Ms. Catrona, Ms. Koval, and Mr. Wada for throwing this amazing back to school night together. Under these crazy circumstances, we all bound together and were able to pull this off, so I commend them. Let me present my slideshow. Of course now it doesn't want to work. Little technical difficulty, I'm sorry. Okay, I guess show must go on. So a little bit about me. I'm a graduate of Muhlenberg College. Go Mules for all girls who are interested in the Lehigh Valley college system. I'm definitely open for conversations, pointers. I'm a big advocate of Muhlenberg. I studied secondary education and English, and during quarantine, I took the plunge, and I am currently enrolled in grad school studying educational leadership. A little bit more about me. I do love photography, so the girls definitely have seen me around, most likely with a camera in my hand. And I am a huge lover of all things baseball, Yankees predominantly, and my family, as the girls, if they have already had me or currently have me, already know. I'm obsessed with my siblings. But it is my 3rd year teaching at IC and my 5th year teaching in general. I teach English 4 honors this year, English 2 and 2 honors, and journalism during the first semester, and then communications in the spring. For English 4, we hit the ball running this week. We started the college process. I work hard with them. I try to work one-on-one with them as much as possible while we're in class together, because I know how important time is and how valuable it is. And the girls definitely appreciate the time that we take out of our schedules to do so. I know that majority of them do extracurricular activities involved in sports, the theater, jobs. So as much as I can kind of take that burden off their shoulders, I definitely try to. I work with Miss Manzano. She's my buddy pretty much for the majority of September. And throughout September, we do college essays, Common App, Naviance, making sure letters of recommendation are complete, making sure that they are trying to narrow down their choices. Sometimes that's easier said than done, especially with the school year starting and college tours now starting up again. For our reading material this year, we are doing Gatsby and A Doll's House. I like to give them the difference between a play and a novel. So Gatsby is definitely one of my favorites, so I definitely try to go hard with that with them. For our sophomores, I try to incorporate as much as possible, especially when it comes to writing. They are very open with the fact that they want to be stronger writers. So my homework assignments normally are as writing intensified as I can make them without making it too much. We workshop together, we peer review before handing things in. I'm a stickler for MLA format, as they will come to find out. And this week we are getting started on short stories. Edgar Allan Poe is my personal favorite. If your daughters have had me in the past, they definitely know how much I love him. And if they are currently sitting in my seats, they're about to find out. And for journalism this year, we decided to combine journalism with yearbook. And I'm so excited to combine the two of them together. The girls, I have 10 solid girls who came in ready to play. They came in with ideas on Monday morning, and we've been jam-packed busy ever since. So I'm very excited to see where their ideas kind of take us throughout this semester and how their ideas will come to life in a book come the end of the year. Come the spring, I do teach communications, like I had said previously. The girls always love being able to put their voices out there and get ready for life. I've had conversations with girls in the past. I know Mrs. Catrona has taught it over the years as well, and they have nothing but good things to say about communications, just getting themselves ready and prepared for college and post-college life. In addition to being a teacher, I'm also an advisor for the National English Honor Society. If your girls ever have questions, or if you have questions pertaining to that, I am always open. My email is tconnor@ichslodi.org. We are currently focusing on the girls, the current senior class. Because of COVID, things got a little pushed. So we will be getting started on a book drive, hopefully by the end of the month. I'm super excited about that. In addition, I'm also an advisor for student council. We have so much in store for the girls this year. I'm so excited to work with Mrs. Catrona and the rest of the faculty and staff on getting all of those ideas rolling and coming to life. I'm trying to think. If you ever have any questions, again, my email is tconnor@ichslodi.org. I am more than happy to answer your questions, your daughter's questions, whenever. Please don't be shy. I am always available for extra help before school and after school. I think if they need help, and normally we work one-on-one together in class, but if they need additional help, I'm always more than welcoming and my door is always open. With that being said, I hope you all have a fabulous night and the girls have a fabulous school year. Ms. Cavall?
Thank you, Ms. Connor. With that being said, I'd like to introduce one of our newest members of the faculty, and I would like to add how incredibly blessed he is to work alongside Ms. Connor each day. I am so excited to see how she's going to guide and assist and show him the ropes of being part of the English department. So with that being said, Mr. Rodriguez, you're up.
Good evening, everyone. I would like to thank Kelly and all administrators. It's been a blessing to be a part of this family, and I want to really thank Ms. Connor. She's always been, any question I have, she's been helping me out. We play a little joke. We like to say that I'm her Robin to her Batman, so any type of little problem that I have, she kind of helps me out too, which was amazing. A little about myself. I graduated from William Patterson with a focus on English writing and creative writing. I've worked in a couple of other districts, public schools, Fort Lee, Lodi, and one of the things that really pushed me to Immaculate Conception High School was the fact that how welcoming everybody is and how helpful. One of the best things is from top to bottom, from Mr. Azzolino all the way down, they just preach family, peace, happiness, and love. And I must say that your daughters are all in a safe haven, I like to call it. A little bit more about myself. One of the things that really pushed me to come here was the policy and how safe it felt. We're passing through a really hard time through 2020, and it started off rough, but I promise you, the light at the end of the tunnel is near. And the one thing that really pushed me to come here was the safety. Everything is just, we're preaching 6 feet apart, everything being wiped down, and it's honestly probably the cleanest building I've ever been in. And to be honest with you, the one thing that I love is, again, how involved everybody is with the girls. A little about the classes that I teach. I have freshmen girls, juniors, and seniors, 2 different levels from honors and also regular courses. The one thing I love with my girls, especially when we're doing our classwork, is to be very interactive, right? I like to talk less and have them answer questions and stuff like that. We get into a little debate and stuff. Even if it's only been 3 days, we're still very involved with everything that we do. And I get them going with a lot of writing to start the class, but I just feel that that's the best way to really, as soon as they walk in the door, all right, let's put our hard hat on and let's get to work. And that's the one thing that I love to preach. Everything that's I've ever learned in my entire life is through hard work. So that's one thing that I encourage. There's no judgment at all in the classroom. It's a judge-free zone. So as soon as you walk in, everyone puts their differences, and everything to the side, and we're all one in the classroom. And I like to preach that with the girls, and I want them to be as comfortable as possible and as open as possible. Okay, and that's one thing that I love. My email is always open to anyone that has questions and so on and so forth. So for the freshmen, we like to focus on teaching them the MLA format and making sure that they are in line with what we expect. Okay, we like to start off with teaching them the reading strategies and how to write formal and stuff like that. Because sometimes we get lost with technology and the fast texting and stuff like that. So we want to make sure that our ladies are writing formal and getting to where we need to be, especially at the freshman level. Okay, we want have them with good habits going forward. Okay. One of the things that we like to focus on is vocabulary and grammar. Okay, because we want them to eventually, work towards the goal of scoring high in an SAT. Your GPA reflects a lot, but your SAT is very important. So your standardized testing is crucial. Another thing is communication skills. Okay, we tend to forget who we're talking to, and sometimes we think that everyone's our peers. So we like to differentiate, teacher to one of your peers. So that is a crucial point and emphasis. We're going to be touching on a bunch of different novels throughout the year. For our junior class, it's one of the most crucial years, if not the most important year in high school. So we like to focus in a lot on paying attention to detail and also the SATs. Okay. And another thing, most importantly, we started today with that, with the juniors, was focusing on what they want to do in the future. Okay. Because, society is very overwhelming. There's at times where we're put in at such an early age, like, okay, you need to know what you want to do for the rest of your life, degree and so on and so forth. And we don't realize, why do these girls only 17, 18 years old? Right? So we need to pump the brakes a little bit, have them start thinking about what they want to do at an earlier age. Okay, so that's one thing that we try to focus here at ICHS, sorry, my apologies. That's one thing we like to focus in on, and especially having a goal. Okay, I think that anything in life, you have to have goals written down as well, not just, okay, my dream school is Columbia University, okay, but no. Yeah, that's a dream, okay, but if you don't write down your goals, you'll never reach those dreams, okay? So you need something to refer back to at all times. So that's one of the reasons why we focus in writing, okay? And I just think that it's important because whenever you get tracked, we get very sidetracked and time goes so fast. So we need something to refer back to. So if you have something written down in a file, okay, let me go back to my goals, boom, you pop it up, you get a fresh reminder of why you're doing what you're doing. And, I told the girls the other day, and they kind of laughed. I said, stop living your life by days. Stop living your life with no purpose, right? And one of the models something that was taught from my father, he used to tell me all the time, is attack life. Okay, so at all times, I don't want to just live throughout the day. I don't want to just, be in the day. I want to attack life. I want to go after it at all times. And I think that's one thing that we try. That's something especially that I try to teach the girls. And they were laughing with me today because I told them, stop living life like a car accident. And they're like, what do you mean like a car accident? I'm like, when things hit the fan, all of a sudden now we don't know how to react. Okay, we have to try to have a plan for everything, because when the worst case scenario happens, we're able to adjust. And that's one thing that I try to preach to them. And then our seniors, seniors, we're going to be working on extensively on their college essays and applications. So we're starting to work on that now because, next thing you know, one thing we can all agree on is, we all went into a pandemic in March, and then next thing you know, it's July 4th. And you're like, what the heck? What happened with all the time? It went flying by. So that's the one thing that I try to tell people, time doesn't wait for anybody. It goes as fast as possible. You have 24 hours every day, and those 24 hours are going to tick no matter what you're doing. Whether you're working, you go to the gym, you're sleeping, whatever. Time is still going to tick. So we have to make sure that we plan accordingly, okay? So yeah, your daughters in the senior level will be working on college essays coming up very soon within the next week or two. And we're just going to help them, make it as formal as possible and attract the eye of every college, okay? And from there, we're working on a few lists of, not so much of, yeah, it's your dream school, but why is it your dream school? Okay, we have to focus in on, a lot of people just want to go to that school. I always tell the girls, yeah, you want to go to school, it's your dream school, but what is that college going to do for you? Okay, and is that college going to, put you in the best scenario for when you leave? Hopefully. And if so, I think that's the ultimate decision that you should make to go to school. Okay, and you're able to reach to me whenever you want. I'm kind of like, they say, I'm like the broken Spanish guy. I'm always on time. So I'm always here at like 6:30 in the morning. So, my door's always open. So whenever the girls get here, whether they're dropped off early and they want to come in the classroom, ask any questions, I'm always here. And after school is a little tough for me because I coach football and wrestling as well. I help out in wrestling here at ICHS, sorry, like I butchered before. Okay, so my time, as long as you email me, within 24 hours ahead of time, I'm able to plan accordingly. Okay, so the best time would be in the mornings, but again, if you could reach out to me, I'll stay as late as possible after school as well, as long as I know ahead of time. So pretty much that's all I have for everyone, and I want to thank everyone from administration, Kelly, Mr. Azalino, Jess. You guys all have been great, and we're eager, we're excited, and we're gonna attack life. And we're gonna attack this year and make the best out of it and finish strong. Thank you, Kelly.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rodriguez. As you all can see, we are extremely blessed to have you on our staff. Next up, another newbie who's so very passionate about her craft. It is my pleasure to introduce Miss Pencella Schetzel as our new art teacher.
Areas. Hi, take two. Talk about artist solve problems, right? I didn't realize I was muted. Thank you, Mr. Wada. Okay, let's start over again. It is so amazing to meet you all. As always, this is a good start. So one of my quotes that I always say and start, artists solve problems. As you see, I was muted, so we have to find a different way. And that's why all of us at IC are always backing each other up. They are always there to support you and always want you to succeed. So continue on from what I was saying. My philosophy, art is a universal language. It's understood by artists and viewers in ways that are unique to each individual. It imposes on so many different aspects of life and encompasses so much of the world around us, which is why my classwork will touch on math, science, language, history, and of course, the arts. Students will be encouraged to incorporate their interest in assignments so that art is personal. I believe that art is a self-expression and it's your own identity. And that's why coming up tomorrow, a lot of the girls are going to talk about getting to know you, their intro of who they are. A lot of my students are artists, a lot of them are not. So that's why some of them do want to try art, which is why I love IC, because they kept art in school. It is so, so important. And I believe that art really helps and grow and expand and forces students, young artists, to think a different perspective. It's so important for me to also express that self-expression is key. I like to talk to my students in ways that we're in a conversation, we're in a group. So like today, I like to challenge them by asking them questions, trying to grab information from them. It's so interesting to hear all their responses. Some of them may think that they're wrong, but really, they're not. They really are learning such a different language. And we're just learning so much that particularly focuses on the elements and principles of art. I believe and know that the elements and principles are the key building blocks of understanding art and where it stems off to. And I do have to say, I am so privileged to have the opportunity to do what I love. And I see, and everyone gave me the opportunity to do that. And I feel like I'm living the dream. And I'm truly honest to the girls that you too can live that dream if you believe and trust your ability. And that's why it is important for me to be that person that they look up to. But I always emphasize is it's not just me, it's everybody here. So I'm so excited to be working individually and as a group. My courses, there's Art 1, 2, and 3, which I would like to show you. Let's see. Entire screen, let's see. All right. Back to school slide. Let's share. Okay. Can everybody see? I hope everyone can see. So for Art 1, my little guy, Art 1 stems off, like I said, with elements and principles of art. And every grade that I teach, which I teach freshmen through seniors, and all of them, each grade, they start off with the basics and then they continuing on and expand even more information. So they learn about artists and then they also learn the history of art and they continue on from that. The way I like to structure my class is projects. I believe that and truly believe that projects should be a big percentage of my class. There is homework, of course, and there's quizzes. That's policy. But there's projects, and I want them to understand that the importance of projects also includes critiquing, speaking out to where it encourages other students, so other students are helping each other. If one student is good through technology-wise and the other one is good with studio, they can bind their interest and really grow and be able to evolve together. And that's why when we do critiquing and presenting, it's important to get feedback. So when they're getting ready for colleges, they'll be able to present and be confident in their work and their identity and expressing through their art. And I love questions. I express to my girls to always question because not one question is bad or wrong. It's just you're curious. And to me, that shows that you really want to be here and you really encourage yourself to wanting to know. I have also included We Believe. I see We Believe that having We Believe is important because it shows the girls, and Ms. Koval will explain a lot more, but for me particularly, the girls will be able to describe the lesson, what they learned, what are they looking forward to, and how they can incorporate the lesson that we learned into their art. But most importantly, as I mentioned, that it's their identity. So I make sure that I get to know them individually because to me, I feel like everybody is different. They're a snowflake. They are designed in their unique ways and they have a journey with the purpose. Everything is with a purpose. And so here are 2 examples of my lovely students. And if you all haven't followed IC social media page, please do. We have so many wonderful things coming up. And here are 2 examples. These are my 2 seniors. They are 2 completely beautiful souls. And they're actually working together and helping each other out. When they're seniors, I know a lot of artists, especially, or non-artists, you have to create a portfolio, which is why we have Weebly. Weebly is a online portfolio. But if those students who are really focusing and wanting to major in art, I would personally help them one-on-one. We will set up a meeting and I will help them how to structure their portfolio in particular way. I'm really blessed to have the education that I had. I went to Salve Regina University, where I studied photography. I majored in studio arts and minor in photography, excuse me. So I really worked with amazing artists. Some of them, they went to Brown, they went to RISD, and some of them went to other colleges too. So, they really helped and forced us to expand. And so I want that what I've learned into their abilities to really succeed. I want to help them out to develop a portfolio. That's in the works. We are trying to really expand the art department. I don't know if you heard this, but we are really getting into the technical aspect of it. So not only they're going to learn studio art, they also are going to learn how to do photography. And we will make ways. We are working on it. We are trying to develop a foundation where we are going to raise money for the art department particularly. And so the girls can have opportunities from left and right and be able to express in many different ways. So in their portfolio, it will provide qualifications that colleges are looking at. It will reflect best on their work and give great examples of their work is so key. And I truly believe those who are not artists, that art is also important too. I had one student, little story. I had one student say, "Oh, I'm not an artist." I said, "Yes, you are. Everyone is an artist. If someone can draw a little dot and a line, you're an artist, because then it grows from there." And so I talked to that student, and she saw the differences between how she first started and how it started to progress, because art develops. So I want them to develop confidence, strength, and find their voice within themselves. And be prepared, because in my class, personally, I like to not only teach art, but life lessons, because it's important, and to incorporate the interest, whether they like dancing or anything like that, or singing, or really anything, because art is a universal language. And here's another example. One of my students, she is a senior. She is getting ready for college. So her description will be a little bit different than what a freshman would be. So this is a perfect example. And as I mentioned, this incorporates the lesson. They're going to incorporate their interests and what they're looking forward to in the next project. So keep on a lookout, parents and guardians, because they're going to really have a lot of projects coming up, whether it's 2D, 3D, or digital. So a lot of exciting things. And I want to also really emphasize this quote. I don't know if you heard this, but let's say, "He who works." But if we say he and introduce the S, obviously it says she. So listen to this. "She who works with her hands is laborer. She who works with her hands and her head is a craftsman. She who works with her hands and her head and her heart is an artist." Now, that is what I expose to the girls, that it's always with the mind, body, and spirit, and how we can connect together, individual and the world around them. And I'm really, really excited and looking forward to continue expanding their minds, whether there are virtual students or in person, because I tell my virtual students, it does not matter if you virtual, because you are part of IC, you are part of this class. You also mean a lot to all of us. You matter, and that your work is going to be seen physically. That is going to happen. I really, really hope. And that is a goal. We always have goals, and we strive for them, and we do what's best and what's safest for the girls. But it is a true big goal of mine that we incorporate the in-person and virtual students' art together and combine them. And they're going to be able to work too as groups and be able to communicate. And lastly, here is my information, my little quote. As you see, my email is right down below. It is pschetzel at ICHS Lodi.org. Most of the girls I think so, yeah. Most of the girls have my number, so they have all access to any questions with me. I tell them, do not hesitate. I am right there with you. You are not alone. I will not leave you hanging. I want your girls to succeed and excel, because that's what, for me, art is, because you don't have to be perfect. You're perfectly imperfect, I tell them, and that makes you unique. And finding your gifts through art is the passion of my class. And the girls are getting really comfortable, so I'm so looking forward to having you all see their art. And I want to thank you all for being here, and thank you for listening to me, and I look forward to connecting with everybody again, whether it's through email or phone. And yes, I hope that's long enough, but thank you so much, and Kelly personally, and everyone, thank you for helping me out, especially, being a new teacher. I know that there's changes. We have to get used to differences and being able to adjust, and we're all going through it, as I said. It doesn't matter if you're new or you've been experienced. We are pretty much going through that same path, and we're all here to help. So I want to thank you all for helping me and leading me to my best ability to help these girls and educate them through art.
Thank you so much, Ms. Schetzel. Thank you for sharing your love for art with us and for being the best person you can be to show our girls the way, especially being the fact that you went to IC yourself and you share the love of our school with them with your work. And I thank you for that. And next we have another new teacher, Miss Andy Lupica, who is our phys ed and health teacher. And she also was a student here. So I am proud to welcome her to.
Hi, everyone. As Ms. Koval said, I'm Andy Lupica. I'm the new phys ed health teacher. So this semester I will be teaching first aid, driver's ed, and phys ed. So I just want to present this for you. Okay. Hold on. Can we see this? We're good? Okay. Okay. So, as I said, I'm Andy Lupica. Ms. Koval just said I was part of the graduating class of 2016 from IC. I went on to go to William Patterson, where I just graduated, class of 2020, obviously with a physical education and health degree. I also have a driver's ed and first aid endorsement. I'm not new to the teaching world. I had to go through 2 years of student teaching, 1 year of practicum, which is basically 1 day a week, and then a full year of student teaching, which is 4 days a week. So I had the privilege of working in Patterson at School 5, that's an elementary school, Lakeland Regional High School in Wanacue, Packanack Elementary School in Wayne, and then I finished up in Ben Franklin Middle School in Ridgewood, where I actually had the opportunity to get thrown into the remote learning as everyone else did in March. So I was able to hold my own classes. I was fully in charge at that time. So I do have experience with the remote learning as well in Google Classroom. I moved on to teach here, obviously at IC. I'm, as I said, driver's ed / PE, that's the sophomores, and first aid / PE 11, which is the juniors. So that is me. I just wanted to show you some of my favorite pictures from IC. I truly love IC, so I wanted to show you some of my best moments here. On the top, I love the Big Sister, Little Sister program. That's me with my little sister, Caitlin, on Junior Ring Day, forming bonds that last a lifetime. On the bottom, I played softball for IC and went on to play 4 years at William Patterson. And on the bottom, I just had to hit the walk-off single to win our state final junior year. So that's me freaking out, rounding first base, because that truly was one of the best moments I've ever felt in my life. So it's you create memories here that you truly never forget. To the right of that is me and Sister Alexander. Every single game, she would bless my bat. And if I didn't get a hit, I would blame her. So She made sure to bless my bat every single game. I wanted to include the next one. That's me and Miss Chanel Banta. She was, if you're not aware, she was the physical education and health teacher before. She definitely guided me into the health and physical education world. And so I wanted to include her because I'm also working hand in hand with her. So I will help your girls have a smooth, easy transition from Miss Banta to me. We run a very similar class. We are in contact a lot, so I can make that smooth transition for your girls. So those are some of my favorite pictures. Why do I love IC? It's truly a positive environment filled with support. The teachers, the staff, everyone, the girls, everyone supports each other. And it's unlike any other school I've ever been in. It's a great education. I was very prepared for college, especially through our collegiate program at Felician. I had credits that carried over, and I knew what it was like to be in a college class, so I was very prepared. It's one of the biggest privileges of going to IC. It's truly a family. I built lifelong friendships at this school, and it was a transformative journey, and I'm going to explain that later on, but that's why I love IC. So my educational philosophy, I believe that education has the power to change lives, as it changed mine. It led me into the teaching profession. I had 3 phys ed teachers in particular that led me into this teaching profession, and they really inspired me, and I want to inspire my students in the same way. So that's what led me into teaching. And I want to give my students this opportunity to have the same transformative experience. And I'll do this by forming strong bonds. I think from day one, it's important to build these strong bonds of respect mutually through the student and the teacher. And I deliver content tailored to each student's individual need. I truly believe education isn't a one-way street. We have to tailor to everyone's needs, and everyone is different. As the next bullet point says, every student is unique and learns differently. And I'm in the process of learning each student right now, getting to know them, so I can provide the right type of learning for each girl. I provide a positive environment where students can grow physically, cognitively, emotionally, socially, and mentally. Create an atmosphere filled with positivity and encouragement. And obviously, number one, a safe environment following all protocols and expectations. And that bottom logo, I just wanted to explain, I do really encourage vocal presenting and speaking, class participation. But I know as you're getting to know a new teacher, it could be difficult. So I provide an interactive PowerPoint for each class called Pear Deck, where the girls can log in, and it has interactive questions. So as the girls are starting to get more comfortable with me and their class, they can still participate by typing in answers, asking me questions if they don't feel comfortable. For now, as this is the first week, and as we create that respect and that positive environment, I'm going to encourage more vocal presentations and talking out loud their feelings and stuff like that. So that's Pear Deck. I truly love it. I've been using it every day since we started, and I will continue to create that environment. All right, so my classes, mine are kind of different than some of the other teachers. I'm split into quarters. So for the first semester, I'm teaching driver's ed for sophomores. And then when it's the next semester, the next quarter, second half of the semester, we'll switch to phys ed. Driver's education, obviously, we're assistant students in becoming safe, knowledgeable drivers, focusing on motor vehicle safety, the laws, obviously, of New Jersey driving regulations, the driver license program, so they know what's expected and how to get their permit and their license, defensive driving, responsibilities of owning and operating a motor vehicle, and trip planning. It helps young drivers save lives, theirs as well as others. And our goal is to get them to pass the Motor Vehicle Commission knowledge exam, which in order to pass, you have to get an 80% or 40 out of the 50 questions right. That test actually has to be taken in person in front of me. So I will keep my remote learners informed how we're going to administer that exam. I'm not legally allowed to give it online. So that is driver's ed. I think it's pretty cool because I'm in charge of the sophomores' freedom because they have to pass this knowledge exam to get their permit, which we're working hard already to get to that 80%. So the first quarter for juniors is first aid. guiding them through the basics of first aid, CPR, and AED. We're developing skills needed to act safely and efficiently in an emergency situation. So I want them to feel comfortable and confident in order to act safely and efficiently in an emergency situation. We're building healthier, longer lives for everyone. And our goal is to get certified through the American Heart Association in using a CPR, in using an AED, giving CPR, and the basics of first aid. So those are the two classes I'm teaching right now. The second half of these classes, which is quarter 2, would be the phys ed class, which is for juniors, sophomores, and juniors. We will be following protocol directly from the New Jersey Department of Education and Governor Murphy. So when they give us the go for using the gymnasium and team sports and stuff like that indoors, we will be doing that in phys ed. But as of now, there's no team sports inside, so we'd have to limit that and do more individualized fitness type of activities. We'll see how that looks when we switch to quarter 2, which is end of October, beginning of November, to see what phys ed will look like, and I will keep the students informed. My main goals of phys ed, as I said before, I'm providing a safe, inclusive environment for everyone, provide a variety of activities to increase motivation. I understand that not every student will enjoy team sports. It's important to give a variety. That's why I enjoy doing station work with different types of activities, so someone can find something that they truly love and will take that outside of phys ed class, because it's important not to just do the activities in phys ed, but also take it outside to keep ourselves active, lifelong active individuals. And I tell my students all the time, I'm definitely here for them. I've literally been in their shoes. So I would love to help them, not only phys ed, first aid, and drivers education-wise, anything they need. I love answering random questions that they have, even about the school, about college. I'm here for them. I offer extra help after school Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm always available Google Meet. Just email me. My email is there if you need to set up a Google Meet. And parents, please contact me there with any questions or concerns. Like I said, I'm here for your girls. I'm here for you guys. I want this to be the best experience that they could have. I want them to have the same experience that I was blessed to have too. So I'm going to stop sharing. Okay, so that's basically it. I'm Ms. Lupika. I really appreciate you guys tuning in to hear my spiel, and thank you everyone for all the support. I truly appreciate it.
Thank you, Ms. Lupika. It was great hearing from you. Next up, we have Mr. Dale Fava, who's teaching 2 business classes.
Hello, everyone. Hope you guys are having a good night. You guys got about 2 more, and then you guys can, well, stay home, I guess, since you're virtual. So let me just pull up my presentation really quickly. All right, so I actually teach business here at Immaculate Conception High School. I did start off my career as a math teacher and business teacher, but now I shifted as obviously a new athletic director and the business teacher full time. Just an overview. I'm going to give you an introduction, a little bit about me, my story, what personal finance covers, my educational philosophy, extra help hours, and some contact information. All right, so like I said, I'm the athletic director as well as the business teacher. I did teach math as well. I taught Algebra 1, College Algebra, and Algebra 2. Now I strictly just teach personal finance. I graduated with a master's in business administration from Delaware Valley University. I also have a minor in sports management, as well as another bachelor's of science in criminal justice. All right, through my high school career, what really led me to this journey here at Immaculate Conception, it was really my teachers and my coaches that really pushed me and made me obviously into the person I am today. And obviously after going through all my different job careers, I really found that my passion is to be here at Immaculate Conception. with the student athletes. Being a teacher as well as a coach and athletic director is something that I've dreamed about my whole life. I look to motivate these young student athletes and really push them to the next level. All right, now for personal finance. These are some of the areas that we cover, just some. We actually also cover college debt as well, so that's good for you guys at home, so your daughters don't make you guys go bankrupt. Tax advantage, retirement, savings, we go over mortgages, credit, deposits, investments, taxes. We teach them also how to basically account for a budget, and save money and make investments. We also go over the stock market, and they each actually have a chance to actually trade in the class live as the stock market goes up and down. It's with the real market regulations. So when they actually do it, I know it's fake money that they're actually trading, but it's actually really showing them and teaching them how to actually trade without obviously the real money. We have a bunch of girls that actually ended up being really good traders, making a lot of profit. So it's just another advantage on actually taking business. What I love the best about teaching business is that it's nothing like mathematics for the girls. With mathematics, they're very hesitant on answering questions. In business, they want to be here. They're going to deal with real life situations, things that they're going to obviously learn on a day-to-day basis, that they're going to be in their job duties or in college. All right, this is really my philosophy. I preach it in class all the time. Quality over quantity. What I mean when I say quality over quantity is when I give my students work, it's not just busy work for them just to write 2 or 3 pages. I really look at the detail that they're giving me, whether it's 1 sentence, 2 sentences, or 3 sentences. I really look at the quality of their work to make sure that they're not just doing work just to do it, that they're really actually taking material from what they learned and applying it to real life. Also, what I also do is how to get comfortable being uncomfortable. And we actually started this today with journal entries like that. And the girls actually communicating and, stating their opinion on certain topics, as well as, giving feedback and criticizing each other, learning that getting good feedback and how to take the feedback in order to move forward and become a better employee, a better student, a better athlete, whatever it is that real life really brings you. For extra help, it changed. Usually I'm always here day to day and they can come after school. Obviously with my new job duties, it's a little bit harder. Anytime a student just comes up to me and gives me a 2-day notice, I can stay basically any day after school as well as during lunch. If they're open to coming to my office during lunch, I'll help them with anything that they're struggling with. As long as they give me a 2-day notice, I can stay any day after school, as long as they're just communicating that to me. And I actually explain that to them, that they have to come see me, email me. Also, make sure that they reach out to me during the day, since I see them every day, Monday through Friday. All right, as far as my contact information, you could email me or call my office line. Any of the hours, I'm basically always answering my phone. You can leave me a message or leave me an email, and I'll make sure that obviously I get back to you as soon as possible. My email has been flooding with emails, so if it takes a day, usually that's the longest it'll take for me to get back to you. But any questions that you have, you can always just reach out to my contact information. What I really try to do in this class is just make it as realistic as possible, real situations that students are going to be dealing with every single day once they go to college. Like I said, making them feel uncomfortable. A lot of it is just speaking to the class, stating their opinions and their thoughts, and really, backing on their decisions, or being open to see other students' views as well. As far as the students this year, they love the class so far. We are going to get into a lot of debates, a lot of different topics, a lot of things that is going to be eye-opening for them. A lot of things that will also help the parents, obviously financially, so that your kids actually understand, everything that goes into, tuition, as far as college debt and, your college choices, 1 through 10 on really where you should select, what colleges you're going to go to, and really using all your resources. So when they graduate, they're not coming out of college, or you guys are not coming out of college with debt. That is, one of my main priorities in this class, making it realistic to the job duties that basically they're going to choose, and giving them that overall feel of, being an employee. Even as far as our participation, I treat it exactly like a business, like everything is. Every school is a business, every college is a business. Everything out there that, obviously we deal with is really technically a business. So everything that we learn is definitely useful. There's nothing that we learn in that class that is not going to be useful. And really challenging the girls to make them feel uncomfortable speaking out, or, reading their journals in front of the class, and making them feel comfortable. So when they're ready to go to college, they're going to have no issues, speaking in front of 100 other students and a professor in the class. As far as their materials, their tools, they need to make sure that they're coming every day prepared with their books and their pencils. It's the same thing. I compare it to the real world in a job. If you come to your job unprepared, you don't get a warning, you get fired. So it's the same thing. This first week, actually, I do give them a warning the first week, but going into next week, if they're going to be missing a pencil or they need to get their book in the hallway, they're going to get a point off for classwork and participation, because I'm going to basically dictate it as far as a real job as possible as being in the classroom. So when these girls get out of high school, they are prepared not only for college, but to actually work the job that they want to get into in the industry or the field that they're definitely interested in. Sorry about that. Thank you for your time. I appreciate it. And everybody, if you guys have any questions, you can always email me. Have a good night.
Thank you, Mr. Fava. And last but not least, we have Miss Nicole Minio, who is teaching psychology.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight and joining us. Last but not least, my name is Nicole Minio. Most of you already know me because I had the chance to meet you before your daughters even stepped foot into Immaculate Conception High School, either at high school fairs, grammar school visits. So it is an honor to see you again tonight virtually. My name is Nicole Minio. I have been at Immaculate Conception High School for about 9 years. I'm going to actually share my screen. Okay. You can see it, Sony? Okay. I think. Okay. Is it there? Okay. I think it's there. Okay. So my name is Nicole Minio. As I said before, I have been working at Immaculate for 9 years. I've had the pleasure of working with amazing teachers, administrators, and it has been a wonderful 9 years. I started out teaching English and psychology in 2012, and I quickly learned as soon as I entered the classroom that not only do I teach the students, but the students also have taught me so much too, and I'm forever grateful for that. The students here, the teachers, the faculty, the administrators that I work with each and every day have really molded me into the person I am, the educator I am, the administrator I am, and I am so grateful for this experience to be working here for 9 years. This is my home, it's my second family, and not only do I teach here, but I also am the coordinator of enrollment management, where I have the opportunity to enroll your young women into the school. So like I said, I am forever grateful for the opportunity. Okay, so you want to wait? Okay. So this is just a little bit about me, some pictures that I wanted to incorporate that kind of our summary of my life. First and foremost, that is my niece, Rosabella. She is starting her Catholic school journey. We looked at many schools over the summer, and with my experience, I helped them find the perfect Catholic school for her. So Catholic school values and traditions are instilled in my family. That is my golden retriever, Romeo. He is almost 1 year old. He keeps me very busy after school. And I am also a psychology teacher here. I do teach senior psychology. In psychology, we talk about many different topics. It's a very interactive class. I do teach seniors, so I do teach it like a college prep class. We've had great discussions in the last 3 days that we've been in class. The seniors and I have had great discussions about psychology, the study of the mind, the study of mental processes, our behavior, why we act the way we do, why others act the way we do. And we're going to get into great topics in psych. And the girls seem really excited. I have about 13 girls in the class, 13 seniors who are so involved in discussions, and they are so happy to be part of the class. I also am the coordinator of enrollment management, and we have upcoming our virtual open house, our first ever live stream open house on October 15th. So parents, I ask you to please share this information with families who are looking for a home for their daughter for the next 4 years. We invite fourth graders, fifth graders, sixth graders, seventh graders, eighth graders. It's never too early to start looking for high school. So parents, if you could share this information about our virtual open house on October 15th at 6:30 p.m., they could sign up right on our website. And this will give them the opportunity, just like you would come in person to an open house, this will give them an opportunity to hear all about Immaculate Conception High School and the amazing things that are happening here. We're really excited about this opportunity. I do wear many hats here, but I have to say, I just feel blessed to be able to work with your daughters each and every day and inspire them and teach them and work with them as student ambassadors. To see them love their school so much really just melts my heart. It makes me so happy to be able to work with them each and every day. Thank you so much. If you have any questions, you could always email me. I'm always available, or you could always call my office line at 973-773-2665. I'm always available. You could always leave me a message or just send me a brief email. Thank you so much. I wish you a safe and healthy school year, and I wish you all the best of luck. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Minio. Just so you all know, you can contact anyone at our school at any time, and we can talk to you via phone. We can arrange a Google Meet session with you individually, but we are here for you. When deciding how to organize tonight, we thought of what we could do that would be the best for you as our families, especially during these crazy times. Ultimately, we would want you to be here, obviously, in the building because we miss you terribly, but your safety is most important to us. We know there have been a few glitches along the way, but nothing we couldn't handle. So we hope you enjoyed your time with us this evening. Learning must be fun, it must be exciting, and as you can see, we as a faculty love to have a great time together, so we hope to instill that in your daughters. I would like to personally thank all of you for your time and attention tonight. I would also like to thank Mr. Azzolino, my fellow administrators, our fantastic teachers, our helpful support staff, and especially our phenomenal technology coordinator, Mr. Michael Wada. Sometimes I get a little crazy with my ideas, wants, and desires within the classroom environment, but Mr. Wada, my partner in crime, never fails me. Together, we always figure out a way to make it happen. As always, we are here for you. Let us know what we can do should you ever need anything at all. We're just a phone call away. Good night, and may God bless you today and always.